His words, one way or another. The secretary speaking hours after new American attacks on Iranian targets.
The Pentagon now says U.S. forces have launched new airstrikes inside Iran, describing them as self-defense strikes to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. The strikes carried out in the area of Bandar Abbas, home to Iran's main naval base, reportedly targeted missile launch sites and Iranian boats trying to lay mines off the coast. The attacks coming despite the ongoing ceasefire.
ABC's Sophie Flay. Israel also launching fresh attacks on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. 12 people killed there. The president's picked to be the next senator from Texas. State Attorney General Ken Paxton squares off against the man currently holding the seat, John Cornyn, in their GOP primary runoff today. Rescue teams searching a flooded cave in Laos for at least 7 people. This is ABC News. A plea from Pope Leo, do not forget about humanity in the age of AI technology.
In his first ever papal encyclical, the Pope recognizing AI's power to heal, connect and educate, but underlining the need to protect human dignity in an age when technology threatens to replace so many jobs and change the way we live.
Artificial intelligence now demands to be disarmed, freed from logics that turn it into an instrument of domination, exclusion, and death.
The Pope joined on stage by Chris Olah, co-founder of AI company Anthropic, who has been calling for the same regulations for years.
ABC's Tom Sophie Burridge at the foreign desk. Google could be facing a fine in Europe of hundreds of millions of dollars. A German newspaper reporting the EU is preparing its largest fine ever for Google breaking rules in the Digital Markets Act. Ferrari has unveiled its first all-electric car. The 4-door Luce was developed with the help of iPhone designer Johnny Ive and will go on sale later this year. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 6:02, cloudy sky, 62 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Brian Feldman. How do St. Louis veterans feel this Memorial Day as America enters a new war in Iran? Mixed feelings were expressed, ranging from anger at the reason given to enter the war to appreciation for those in it.
Even though we don't have a draft, these guys are, they're doing their best, and they're patriotic people, and they're serving in a war that I would consider unjust.
Ones that are fighting right now, they shouldn't be there. That's the way it is. That's the way I feel. I mean, it's something that happened. It's a diversion.
It makes me honor them more. They've got a lot more to deal with than they had back in World War II.
So far, the United States has suffered over a dozen casualties from the Iran war.
The new downtown entertainment district will soon begin funding a security presence to patrol the area. How will it work with the city's police department?
Chief of Police Robert Tracy says they are still in talks with the district about the logistics, emphasizing it's still very early. He says they believe a new wave of incoming officers will help.
19 offices come June 12th. We just put 21 officers in this week. And then you saw that we had that fast track application process. We had 130 people show up in body, not filling out an application, taking 3 parts of the test, including the physical. 85 of them are left in that process.
Tracy says they will also be able to make staff available to work the downtown district through overtime from outside funding. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Is it worth filing a quo warranto to remove St. Louis County Executive Sam Page from office if he's not running for re-election? Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says yes, his term ending this year being irrelevant.
If we have the evidence, we will file for a quo. It is, we just can't have people who are in office and violating the charter.
Hanaway says she believes there is enough time for a quo warranto to see a ruling before Page's tenure comes to a close. She adds they were able to finally access the evidence late last week after being delayed by HIPAA protections.
5 people were hurt in a boating accident at the Lake of the Ozarks yesterday. The Highway Patrol says a 1990 Wellcraft boat struck a partially submerged log while moving near the 38-mile marker. 4 juveniles and the adult driver, all from St. Joseph, were taken to the hospital with minor to moderate injuries. Nobody was wearing a life jacket. Everybody was taken to Lake Regional Hospital.
A Memorial Day fire destroyed 3 units at the Sherman Meadows condos in St. Charles. The flames broke out around 2:30 in the 3700 block of Sherman Park Drive. All 6 residents got out safely. Firefighters rescued some pets, 2 now recovering at a clinic, though 1 cat did not make it. A few firefighters suffered minor sprains. Investigators believe the fire may have started on an exterior deck and will review doorbell cameras pointed at that part of the building.
A St. Louis family is marking a painful anniversary with still no arrests. 1 year ago, two young brothers were shot in a drive-by while riding in their father's car near Union and Bircher. 9-year-old Jordan Neal died that night. His 10-year-old brother, Richard Neal III, survived the shooting but died last fall from complications just after turning 11.
Police say the gunfire came from a maroon Nissan four-door that pulled up beside the car. 12 months later, Fox 2 reports the case still unsolved. The boy's father, Richard Neal Jr., was behind the wheel that day.
I have not slept for 3 days. Tired, exhausted. We've ran through every lead. Everything. We're outside searching every day because we want the closure, the justice.
Crime Stoppers offering a $5,000 reward for any information that leads to an arrest.
A St. Louis area nonprofit is trying to find students that stopped going to class after last spring's tornado. KMOX's Megan Lynch tells us more.
We're looking for about 520 students.
Miranda Walker-Jones is CEO of the Little Bit Foundation. She says all of the students who are unaccounted for attended schools damaged by the storms.
We're just trying to make sure that these students that were former St. Louis Public School students, they either landed well or if they're still in need and need to come back and transition back into the district, that we can help them do that.
Learn more about their efforts. Listen this morning at 8:10 here on KMOX.
Grafton, Illinois now has a national memorial, Point du Hoc, at the Visitor Center. The memorial marks the start of the D-Day invasion on Omaha Beach in Normandy, France in 1944.
This June 6 marks 82 years since the Army Rangers climbed the cliff Point du Hoc to take out the German guns. This was a vision of Grafton Mayor Michael Morrow that became a reality a couple of years ago when KMOX first told you about this.
June 6th is the dedication day. That day is D-Day. That was selected because it falls on a Saturday this year. And we are going to have the dedication at 9:30 in the morning at the site where we will dedicate the Rangers on the wall. And at that site, we're going to have as a guest speaker, Lieutenant General Hellwig. He's a 3-star general, the Deputy Commander of Transcom from Scott Air Force Base.
Morrow tells KMOX he expects 2 World War II veterans, 101 and 102 years young, to be at the dedication. That evening, at the loading dock, there will be a 1940s-era dance. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
From the KMOX business desk, the potential Google data center could get $1 billion in tax breaks. The $15 billion data center project will include multiple data center buildings and is planned to span over 900 acres near I-70 and Highway 19. Construction should start later this year.
In order to receive the $1 billion in tax breaks, Google has to create 75 permanent jobs per data center building. That's according to the Business Journal. Google says it'll also contribute $5 million annually to local entities and infrastructure. The Montgomery County Commission will hold a public hearing on the proposal June 8th.
We'll check traffic and weather next at 6:08.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
There's one box that you'd run back into your burning house to grab. It's the box filled with your videotapes, film reels, and photos. Those sentimental, meaningful, irreplaceable moments. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger. We started Legacy Box over a decade ago so that we could help families save their memories from being destroyed by floods or fires.
And it's not just natural disasters, Adam. Every day, videotapes and photos are slowly fading away, decaying, neglected in closets and attics.
Digitizing your old media stops fading, and preserving those recordings means they are safe forever. It's like magic, converting your shoebox of memories into digital files, ready to watch and share.
It's the only way to ensure your legacy is safe for generations. That's why over 1 million families have already trusted Legacy Box. Legacy Box is simple and easy, it works, and is safe. We'd love to preserve your family's collection. Don't wait, the risk is too great.
Visit legacybox.com/radio to save 50%. That's legacybox.com/radio to get started and save. legacybox.com/radio.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
At 6:10, let's check the roadways with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We're looking good so far, Brian. Interstates are pretty quiet right now. I do have this one little slowdown. It's an incident. I don't know if it's a stall or a crash, probably a stall, but just a little slowdown westbound on 64, west of 50, about midway between 50 and 159. So just pay attention there. Obviously, maybe an additional lane blocked or something that's causing that delay. Again, it's a slowdown, not a jam. And this is the hour they're scheduled to start work on 143, about a mile west of Route 3. The East Alton area. That's about a month-long project. It'll be down to one lane in each direction there near the Mount Price Lock and Dam. So that was scheduled to start during the 6 a.m. hour. Right now, I'm not seeing any delays there either. And I don't see any delays in the construction zones except for one spot, and that's northbound 55, approaching 141 up to the Merrimack, starting to slow down just a bit there. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Don't miss the final home game of the season. Your St. Louis Battlehawks take on the Dallas Renegades Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. at the Dome. It's Battlehawks Kids Day. Plus, fans can score an Archie bobblehead while supplies last. Tickets start at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com. Caw-caw.
Plenty of clouds today and rather humid. A passing late day shower, high 78. Mostly cloudy and humid tonight. There can be a shower or thunderstorm in the area, low 67. For tomorrow, clouds and some sunshine, warm and humid. Slight chance of a thunderstorm, high 84. Variable cloudiness and warm on Thursday. Again, there may be an afternoon thunderstorm in spots, high 86. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 61 in Florissant, 61 in St. Peter's, a cloudy sky, 62 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:12. The company behind the stalled Nexstar Tegna local TV merger fighting back in court. Nexstar has asked a federal appeals court to scale back an injunction that's forcing it to keep Tegna's station operating separately. That includes St. Louis's KSDK Channel 5, which would otherwise be combined with KTVI Channel 2 and KPLR Channel 11.
Nexstar argues the order is far too broad and is costing it millions of dollars. It's also arguing the dozen-plus bipartisan states suing to block the deal shouldn't even be allowed in the case. California's Attorney General, meantime, says he doesn't believe Nexstar will win, calling the merger, quote, presumptively unlawful.
VLTs are not the only gas station money machine Missouri is cracking down on.
CoinFlip's crypto ATMs are the new target of Attorney General Catherine Hanaway's lawsuit. She alleges the fraud these machines perpetrate is twofold. First, hidden excessive fees that consumers are unaware of.
They're disclosing fees of about $2.99. And we found that the fees could be as much as 20% of whatever is deposited. So if you put $1,000 in, you're paying $200 in fees.
The second, she alleges they've become the quote-unquote getaway car for scam calls by tricking victims into depositing money into their accounts.
The Highway Patrol estimates that total fraud statewide could be as much as $7 million.
Hanaway says she doesn't believe the ATM should be outlawed like video lottery terminals, but says they should be regulated. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Missouri's new nuclear task force is getting down to business in Jefferson City. Chairman and State Natural Resources Director Kurt Schaefer says longtime views on nuclear power are starting to shift.
I mean, a lot of us are calling it a nuclear renaissance. And it's in terms of everything, frankly, from nuclear power, which is mostly what the task force is looking at, to things like radioisotopes developed by the University of Missouri for cancer treatment.
The group was created by Governor Mike Kehoe to examine how nuclear energy could strengthen reliability, affordability, and long-term growth across Missouri.
Have you ever wondered what the difference is between specialty coffee and regular coffee?
Coffee is kind of two species. So there's Arabica and Robusta. And so Arabica is kind of the brighter, sweeter, more complex coffees, and all specialty falls is Arabica, whereas a lot of like the Folgers and other coffees mix in Robusta. It's easier to grow, higher yield, but also is more bitter.
St. Louis and Andrew Potler is the creator of Pull and Pour Coffee, an online community dedicated to helping people discover specialty coffee. Potler tells MissouriNet coffee is like wine in many ways, as lovers can spot the difference based on location, the notes, and the type of beans used.
Burleson pops it up. It's on the third base side. Coming down the line, Rengifo on the grass. He has it. This ball game has come to an end. The Brewers take game one of the three-game series 5-1.
And it really comes down to this. They faced one of the best pitchers in baseball, and he was phenomenal. Jacob Misiorowski shut down the Cardinals yesterday. Here's his line. You ready for this? 7 innings, 1 run allowed on 2 hits, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts. Misiorowski is now 5-2 with a 1.83 ERA. Furthermore, he has 100 strikeouts in 64 innings. He has a whip, walks, and hits per innings pitched of 0.83. It's just crazy how good this kid is. And I say kid because he's young. He's only 24 years old. And the Cardinals got beaten by Miz, plain and simple. Final score was 5-1. Now, in this game, Matthew Liberatore gave up 3 runs in the first inning, then didn't allow anything from that point forward. Liberatore struck out 10 in 5 innings. He allowed 3 runs on 7 hits, walked 2. And Bryson Motts made his major league debut, came into the game to clean it up the final 3 innings. He allowed 2 runs on 4 hits, walked 2, and struck out 2. Chip Carey with Ollie Marmol on Cardinals TV.
Matthew, what are your thoughts on how he pitched?
Yeah, just didn't get ahead first time through. After that, he was able to fill up the zone, land everything, and able to get some swing and miss, 10 punch outs, only walked 2. But the first time through was it took some good swings off him.
Game like this, you look for moral victories. I thought Pedro had a nice day at the plate, threw out a couple of base runners. That helped at least.
Yeah, he did a nice job. He's done that all year, just controlling the running game. Some tough blocks today with Bryson on the mound as well. So he did his job behind the plate. Unfortunately, we just couldn't string anything together against their start. He did. I mean, good velo, good slider, did a really nice job against us.
Yeah. Bryson, you mentioned him. Big league game, first one of those. A lot of emotions, I'm sure, for him and for you.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was good to get him out there once we got him going, get him in that game, give him enough time to feel good about it. Gave us 3 innings, allowed us to rest our bullpen, and we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Cardinals take on the Brewers tonight, 6:40 start from American Family Field in Milwaukee. We'll have the pregame for you on KMOX at 5:45. The Cardinals are in second place in the NL Central, 2.5 games behind the Brewers. The Cubs 3.5 back. They've lost 9 in a row. They lost to the Pirates yesterday, 2-1. Stanley Cup playoffs. It was the Carolina Hurricanes. They scored in overtime. Andrei Svechnikov did it, 3-2. They win at Montreal, and they take a 2-1 series lead. Svechnikov scored at 14:06 of overtime as Carolina took that 2-1 series lead. Jakub Dobish, who went to DeSmet, grew up in St. Louis, had 35 saves for Montreal, but he couldn't get that last one as Carolina wins it. Karl Anthony Towns had 19 points and 14 rebounds. OG Anunoby scored 17, and the New York Knicks routed the Cleveland Cavaliers 130-93 last night to complete a 4-game sweep of the Eastern Conference Finals. They advanced to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. They'll play the winner of Oklahoma City and San Antonio. Currently, those 2 teams are tied 2 games apiece. College basketball, Eric Schmidt, U.S. Senator, is trying to put St. Louis University in the Big East. We'll tell you about that coming up. He'll tell you about it at 6:22 in our news segment there. The Redbird Report, sponsored by Restoration One of Greater St. Louis. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX. And of course, mine for a lot longer than that. And look, it's fantastic fun. You get to play along regardless of the sport, baseball, basketball, hockey. Once we get back to football season, you play along as you go and have a little bit more of that entertainment time. Well, this is your reminder that during the NBA playoffs, you want to be checking in with the FanDuel Sportsbook app. every single day, because every single day during the NBA playoffs, FanDuel is serving up a happy hour. So we're talking about special drops that you don't want to miss, from things like profit boosts to bonus bets and a whole lot more than that. And then you check for a new reward every single day of the NBA playoffs, and I have been taking advantage of that, so you don't miss your shot to get a little extra out of the action. So just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri to get yourself started. And remember that you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable, and restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
When it comes to your hearing, you deserve expert care. At the Audiology Center, you're treated by certified audiologists Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Adam Foss, and Dr. Bailey Campbell, meaning 8 years of advanced education, clinical expertise, and a commitment to best practices.
Charlie, we offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so you get what's best for you. Every patient receives individualized testing, precise fittings using real ear measurements, and personalized programming to ensure your hearing aids perform exactly as they should. And our care doesn't stop once you leave the office. We're committed to helping your hearing aids last through ongoing adjustments, maintenance, and long-term support at no extra cost. Better hearing is personal, not one size fits all. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com. And let's take that first step together.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 6:21 on Total Information AM this Tuesday after Memorial Day. And let's see how the roadways are as summer vacation kicks off for kids with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they look good so far, Brian. This traffic reports the service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. The only place I'm seeing delays is just a little bit of a slowdown right now, northbound 55 from about the Church Road overpass there before you get to 141 up to the Merrimack. It's bogged down through that work zone, but it's further south. It's not backed up to Richardson Road, and it looks good down in the Highway A McNutt area. And, of course, up in the city, they've straightened those roadways out, northbound 55 north of Bayless, so I don't expect to see much there. It looks like they took care of that. I guess maybe it was a stall. Westbound 64 west of 50 between there and 159. The little slowdown we had there a short time ago has dissipated, and I still don't see any delays on 143 west of Route 3 over near the Malprice Lock and Dam. That's where they're scheduled to start road work this hour, about a month-long project. It'll be down to one lane in each direction there. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. We're partners committed to you, your business, and your community. From family law to litigation, we're ready to serve. Visit sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Weather-wise, we're looking at a humid day today. Cloudy, shower in the area late this afternoon, high 78. Humid tonight, chance of a thunderstorm, low 67. Tomorrow, clouds break for some sun, warm and humid, high 84 with a chance of a thunderstorm. It's 62 right now.
The news continues at 6:22 in The Moonshine Women, a new historic fiction novel by South City's Michelle Collins Anderson. The Strong sisters take over their father's bootlegging operation in the Ozarks while dodging pesky prohibition agents. Anderson says in the 20s, it became an important source of income for some very poor folks.
Farming was already really, really difficult. And these were pretty much subsistence farmers, just a hand-to-mouth existence. Everyone had a still pretty much in those times just for their personal enjoyment or, entertainment. But when it got down to these late 1920s during Prohibition and farming was so tough, what the farmers discovered was that their corn was worth more by the gallon than it was in a bushel. What was a hobby became very much integral to their survival, being able to make this extra money selling this moonshine, keep their family farm afloat, keep their families fed.
Did you have to do a lot of research on how moonshine is made?
I would not recommend moonshine. Even today's moonshine really is not my cup of tea. Certainly that the old kind would really blow your hair back if you were to take a good sip of that stuff. But yes, it was quite a process. It starts with making your mash out of corn and barley and yeast, and then cooking it, letting it ferment for a couple weeks, and then putting it in a kettle. And then that's where you have the coils and everything that sort of catch the vapors, and those vapors, as they condense, make your moonshine. And what I found out was that moonshine has 4 distinct parts to it. There's the 4 shots, which is like the early percentage, maybe 20% or even a little more. And that stuff, if you drank it, you would actually die from ingesting it. So it's very dangerous. The second part is called the heads. It's probably the next 20 or 30%. It is palatable, but not recommended. You could go blind from it. It's really, you're not to drink it. And then finally, the hearts is the third part, and that is the sweet spot. It starts to smell supposedly like pineapples when you get to that little turn, and that next 30% is what all the effort is for, that 30% that you can bottle up and drink. And then finally, the tails is just the end. It gets a little greasy and you discard that. So those 4 parts are the moonshine. I didn't know anything about it, but what I came to think was, I am so impressed by these mountain people that are making this moonshine and not dying left and right from ingesting something that wasn't quite right. So I think it really was an art. You know, today, if you go to a distillery, there's all these little thermometers and gauges, and they have everything down to such a science. But to think of just a person knowing by smell and touch and look and all of that, you know, when the moment is right to get that good stuff. I mean, it really was an art.
That's Michelle Collins Anderson, author of the USA Today best-selling novel, The Moonshine Women. She was a guest on Book Chat with Debbie Monterey in St. Louis Public Library.
Recently on Sports on a Sunday Morning, U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt, I noticed he had posted a photo of himself with athletic director Chris May at St. Louis University and basketball coach Josh Schertz. What was that meeting all about?
Yeah, I mean, I went to law school at SLU. As you know, Tom, we've known each other for a long time. A St. Louis native. I love all things St. Louis, and I'm a big sports fan. And so it's just exciting what the Billikens have going on now. And the Schertz is a program builder. I got a chance to spend some time with him right when they hired him. I was a fan from afar of what he had done at Indiana State and the other programs, Division II programs. He just is a guy who gets it. That program, I mean, last year was, I just think, an appetizer of what SLU can be. In my view, be the sort of the Gonzaga of the Midwest. And so I'm personally working very hard to try to get them in the Big East. That is their rightful place. They should have been in there in the beginning. But you look at their profile, a private Catholic institution matches up very well with schools like Villanova and Georgetown and Creighton and Marquette. Those are sort of the sister schools for St. Louis University. And I think it's a basketball-centric conference, and we're talking about what college sports looks like. The Big East is well positioned, and as I've talked to their commissioner and university presidents, SLU would come in with a very healthy NIL. It has the number 4 endowment for Catholic institutions in the country. A lot of people don't know that. So they're well positioned to compete in that league, and I think it would be a great addition for the Big East for SLU to join. So that's one of my projects here. We're working the phones, talking to people about as the Big East looks to expand to make sure St. Louis University is a part of that.
U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt on KMOX revealing his plan to put SLU, or at least get them in the conversation to move to the Big East Conference. You can hear that full conversation on our Sports on a Sunday Morning podcast page at KMOX.com or wherever you get your podcasts. It's 6:28. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
A lot of Billiken fans at the Missouri Athletic Club. I know that. A lot of Mizzou fans as well. College basketball is a big discussion at the Missouri Athletic Club, but I think I know what was discussed over the weekend at the MAC, and that was, let's go to the pool. The Missouri Athletic Club pool was open on Saturday, and it is the place to be. This was the kickoff to summer, and I know the MAC is very proud of everything they've put into this area. The Missouri Athletic Club pool in Town and Country at 1777 DePere Road is phenomenal. They replaced all the chairs on the pool deck last year. They have a new outdoor bar that is a lot of fun just to walk up and strike up a conversation with some of your friends and family and people you haven't seen in a while. Then you can go upstairs, 1903. That lounge is open. The Cherry Diamond Cafe right off the pool is a snack bar. The kids love going in there. So do families. It's all renovated. Great food and drink. The pool life is alive at the Missouri Athletic Club during the summer. Our kids learned how to swim there, and they now take their friends there. It is just an awesome time. mac-stl.org.
Chuck McDowell here with Red Pocket Mobile. How long have you been stuck with the same phone plan? 2 years? 5? 10? Are you tired of surprise fees and confusing bills that never match what you thought you were paying? Cut the nonsense.
Right now at redpocket.com, new and existing customers adding a line can get our premium 5G plan for just $5 a month. That's only $60 a year.
And here's the kicker. Red Pocket Mobile gives you access to all 3 5G networks. You pick the one that works best where you live or work, or switch anytime for better coverage. And with Red Pocket, you keep your phone and your number. Why in the world would you not switch? Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
Celebrate Memorial Day with big savings from Red Pocket Mobile. Right now, new and existing customers can get our premium 5G plan for just $5 a month. Just $60 a year, and choose from all 3 major 5G networks with one locked-in low price at redpocket.com. That's redpocket.com. Redpocket.com.
Want to build income without a second job? Learn how real estate investing can help you create extra income one step at a time with Lifestyles Unlimited. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
At 6:30, we have partly cloudy skies and 66 degrees downtown at the Arch. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing all right out there. It's getting a little bit busier, but it's still not bad all in all. You do have a slowdown northbound 55. We'll call it north of Richardson now. It's a little bit lengthier of a delay, but it runs up to 141 in the Merrimack, and then it sorts itself out, and you're good from there into the city. Northbound 270, a little bit of volume here as well, just around the Clayton Road overpass up through 64 as you enter the work zone between there and Ladue. Still look okay. Out west, southbound 61 on to eastbound 64 or 70 coming in from Wentzville. There aren't any issues there. And on the Illinois side, things are still okay. 64 westbound coming through 159. And the schedule to start a roadwork project this hour on 143, about a mile west of Route 3 over in the East Alton Wood River area near the Mel Price Lock and Dam. It's supposed to be down to 1 lane for the next month, but right now I'm not seeing delays there either. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Meteorologist Joe Lundberg says it's going to be mostly cloudy today, a little humid, but a shower in the area later this afternoon, high of 78 degrees. Tonight, cloudy, humid still, possible thunderstorm in a couple spots, low of 67. Tomorrow, clouds breaking for some sunshine, warm, humid again, possible thunderstorm in parts of the area, high of 84 degrees. Right now, we have partly cloudy skies and 66 degrees downtown at the Arch.
St. Louis residents have the opportunity to speak with local leaders about the Rams settlement money today. A public hearing on how to spend the money is set for 11 a.m. at City Hall. The current proposal allots $110 million. North St. Louis recovery efforts would receive that. That's almost half the settlement amount. The rest has been proposed to fund downtown improvements and infrastructure.
Later this summer, the new Downtown Entertainment District will begin funding a 24/7 security patrol. Chief of Police Robert Tracy says they're working with the district's board on how that security will work, adding their officers will play a part in staffing it.
I haven't finalized how I'm going to do that, but some will be with additional money like we did with the Police Foundation a few years ago. There'll be some additional money. I put additional on somewhat overtime, not secondary, not straight time.
Tracy emphasized a lot can still change as talks continue.
Attorney General Catherine Hanaway tells KMOX they should know in a matter of weeks whether or not they'll seek to remove County Executive Sam Page for his alleged side employment. Is there enough time for it to be worthwhile?
Hanaway tells KMOX she believes there is. Despite a concerted effort to fast-track the removal of St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred Montgomery, she believes a potential quo warranto against Page could move faster.
The Sheriff Montgomery case was unusual, though. The Kim Gardner case moved much more quickly, and we've had other cases around the state that have moved much more quickly. If we have the evidence, we will file for a quo.
Hanaway says they were only just able to access the evidence against Page late last week, with much of it password protected due to HIPAA. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Gas prices 3 cents cheaper per gallon today than they were last week in St. Louis. That's according to Gas Buddy, which says the regional average gas price, $4.37. Gas prices fell about the same amount for all of Missouri, an average $4.18 per gallon.
We'll check your Money Minute next at 6:34. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
All access with Ollie Marble on the Gas House Gang.
I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group. This group fits my personality to a T. I love what we're doing. I love how we're going about it. I love the honest conversations. I love the grit. And there's been certain times where I've caught myself where bases are loaded, our backs up against the wall, and I can't help but smile. I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group.
Ollie Marble, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
Hi, this is Congresswoman Ann Wagner from Missouri's 2nd District. I work every day to put more money in your pocket, secure the border, protect our shared Missouri values, and keep our communities safe. Whether it's visiting one of my public events in neighborhoods around the district or by contacting my office, I want to hear from you. If you need help with a federal agency, please contact me at wagner.house.gov.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been asked many times how Morgan & Morgan became the largest injury firm in the world. I think I know. When someone comes to us for an on-the-job injury, we have a huge workers' compensation practice. But many times we find a defective product that was responsible for that injury. Luckily for them, we have a product liability section headed by my son, Mike. In addition to the comp case, there's a product case too. Other times, the injured worker is fired or harassed for bringing that claim. We have them covered. Our employment lawyers handle retaliation claims as well as wage theft and discrimination cases, and in some cases need to file for Social Security benefits. No problem. We became big for a reason. 30% of our new cases come as referrals from former clients. Hiring us is easy. Go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer, or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At 6:36, time now for your Money Report. It's sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, Elder Law Attorneys.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. The movie industry is getting its mojo back. This year, domestic box office receipts are up 14% from a year ago, and the months ahead look just as strong. Analysts expect the domestic box office to deliver its best summer performance since 2019. Analysts at Comscore and Bloomberg Intelligence forecast between $4.1 billion and $4.3 billion in movie ticket sales this summer. A haul above $4 billion is on par with the pre-pandemic era. Checking on your money, stocks are looking at gains. S&P futures are up 41 points, Dow futures rising 220. Investors appear to be optimistic that peace talks between the U.S. and Iran are progressing. An artificial intelligence company, Anthropic, is set to close its latest round of funding as soon as this week. The maker of Claude may raise more than $30 billion from investors. This would vault Anthropic ahead of rival OpenAI to become the world's most valuable artificial intelligence startup. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Pool days call for cookouts and lots of laundry. This Memorial Day at Lowe's, save $80 on a Charbroil Performance Series 4-burner gas grill, now just $199. Plus, get up to 45% off select major appliances to keep dishes, clothes, and food fresh. Having fun in the sun is easy with us in your corner. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/27. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. See associate or Lowe's.com for details.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
We will have manager Ollie Marmol with us today at noon. Looking forward to that as the Cardinals are in the middle of a series in Milwaukee. Right now, Roger Brand's in the middle of looking at traffic, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, no complaints out there so far, Tom. I mean, it's getting a little bit busier in spots, but really, all in all, it's a pretty good run. Northbound 55, bogging down. I'd call it south of 141, and I think it's closer to that than it is Richardson up toward the Merrimack River construction zone. Looks good down in Festus coming up from 67 through A and McNutt. North 270, a little busy right as you get through Doherty Ferry, midway up the hill to Manchester, and then north of Manchester, it slows again all the way up through 64 into the work zone at Ladue. Out west, we're still okay. 70 coming in from Warrenton, southbound 61 on to eastbound 64, 70. Both cruising along across the Missouri River bridges. On the Illinois side, 64 coming through 159 in Fairview Heights. Okay, don't forget, today's the day they start that project. They're going to have the ramps closed from north and southbound 159 on to westbound 64, and the westbound 64 exit closed for road work. And again, that begins this morning as well. Otherwise, right now, it's okay coming through there on 64, and it's still clear across the bridges downtown. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
It's 6:41. Meteorologist Joe Lundberg joining us for our weather forecast. And Joe, sounds like some wet weather may be coming our way.
Some may be coming our way, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a big rainstorm or severe weather outbreak or anything of that nature. Just a shower may cross the area later today, and a shower, maybe a thunderstorm at some point tonight. Ahead of it, not much in the way of sunshine today. That'll keep temperatures probably in the upper 70s, kind of humid tonight. Again, that spotty shower or thunderstorm, the low 67. Clouds should give way to a bit more in the way of sunshine tomorrow, a warmer day, and it will remain humid with that spotty thunderstorm of most of the day rain-free, the high 84. Clouds and some sun, warm and kind of humid Thursday with a chance of a thunderstorm, the high 86. I think most of Friday is rain-free with clouds and sun, just a stray thunderstorm, the high 82, and more the same Saturday highs in the low 80s with some sun. 62 at St. Peter's, at 65 in Florissant, 68 degrees under mostly cloudy skies downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. Sports in 3 minutes at 6:42. President Trump says this latest incident of violence with shots fired outside the White House on Saturday is yet another reason to fund the billion-dollar ballroom. But it's a tune not everyone wants to waltz to. Here's ABC senior White House correspondent Selena Wang.
That pushback is coming from even within the president's own party over his $1 billion request in taxpayer funds to build it. Now, the Justice Department is arguing that this ballroom is necessary for national security, describing Saturday's shooting as an attempted assassination of the president.
President Trump's role as kingmaker gets its next test today. ABC's Jim Ryan in Texas, where a Trump-supported challenger faces an incumbent U.S. senator in a Republican runoff election.
In the final round of campaign ads, current Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has highlighted President Trump's support.
Trump gives his complete and total endorsement to America First patriot Ken Paxton.
But the incumbent isn't giving up on MAGA voters.
Senator John Cornyn has a proven record of supporting President Trump's agenda. Senator
Cornyn has heavily outspent Paxton to get to today's runoff. Paxton hopes that's outweighed by Trump's latest post on X, in which the president said Cornyn has been, quote, very disloyal to me. Jim Ryan, ABC News in Dallas-Fort Worth.
6 men allegedly connected to a series of burglaries at the homes of star athletes, including Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, are now under arrest in South America. ABC's Hannah Battah has more.
Back in 2024, the Chiefs were just minutes into a game when the thieves broke into Kelce's home and stole jewelry, watches, cash, and other luxury merchandise. Hours earlier, a burglary was reported at Mahomes' home. And the following month, authorities say the same crew targeted the home of Milwaukee Bucks player Bobby Portis during a game.
You have to go through, or your flights are funneled through either Atlanta, Washington, D.C., or Houston.
That's ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton on travel restrictions in the United States. There are travel restrictions for non-U.S. citizens who have traveled to Uganda, South Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. You will be banned from entering the United States.
Dr. Sutton says, as an American citizen, you will be screened at one of those 3 airports, and if allowed to return home, then your local health department will step in.
Now, the overall risk to the United States remains low. If we remember from 2014, an incredibly large outbreak, only 4 Americans contracted the virus inside the United States, but this current outbreak seems to be spreading at a faster pace.
And this is also a different strain that has no vaccine.
When you come into direct contact with the bodily fluids of someone who is infected, and people are typically only contagious when they are symptomatic. Now, here's the problem. This is affecting communities that are in dire need. They're already facing a crisis in not only limitations in healthcare, but also access and preventative equipment.
There are additional concerns with the World Cup coming to the United States, including to our own Energizer Park. Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Who's hot, who's not? Sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, and making memories. The Cardinals' Matthew Liberatore gave up a run in the first inning, and then this.
Well, when you're facing Milwaukee, you better avoid the big inning.
Here's a fly ball, and that's it well. Left center field, Brian Torres chasing it, getting back there, and it is out of here for a home run. Yelich with an opposite field home run makes it 3-0 in the first inning, Milwaukee.
But just when it looked like things were going to get out of control for the Cardinals and Liberatore, Libby was able to bear down.
The wind in the pitch by Libby, a swing and a miss. He blew it by him at the top of the zone. And Libby has had a few strikeouts in this game, too. That's 5 for him. The 3-2 pitch is a called strike 3. He got him looking. He had 2 strikeouts of Terang in this game and back-to-back strikeouts. Now 4 of the last 5 Brewers have struck out. Libby trying to strike out the side. He's seen the other guy do it. He's got a 1-2 pitch, and it's a breaking pitch, and that's a called strike 3 on Contreras. And that will send us to the 4th inning. Good work by Libby here in the 3rd. He has struck out 4 in a row. Now 5 out of 6.
The other guy, Jacob Mizorowski, was phenomenal. He had 12 strikeouts in his 7 innings, and the Cardinals just could not reach him. Liberatore was able to keep it close, but in the end, the Cardinals dropped this one 5-1, and they just had no answer for Mizorowski. 7 innings, 1 run allowed on 2 hits, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts as the Cardinals lost this ball game. Bryson Mott's made his major league debut. He pitched 3 innings in relief of Liberatore, who allowed 3 runs on 7 hits in 5 innings, struck out 10. Mott's 3 innings, 2 runs on 4 hits, 2 walks, 2 Ks as the Cardinals dropped this first one. Good thing for them, they are in this NL Central race. They're 2.5 games out. They have second place all to themselves. That's because the Cubs have completely cratered. They've lost 9 in a row. They fell to the Pirates. Final score was 2-1 in that contest. The Reds won their game 7-2 over the Mets. The Mets are still a mess. They're 10 games under 500. The Cardinals 2.5 out, Cubs 3.5 out, Reds 4 back, and the Pirates 4.5 back. All 5 teams in the NL Central have winning records. Cardinals and Brewers tonight. It'll be a 6:40 start. We'll have the pregame at 5:45 right here on KMOX. The New York Knicks are in the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999, and they dropped the hammer on the Cleveland Cavaliers, 130-93 last night to win that series in 4 games. They'll play the winner of the Spurs and the Thunder. Game 5 in Oklahoma City tonight at 7:30 with that series even at 2 games apiece. The Carolina Hurricanes with an overtime win at Montreal last night. 3-2 in overtime. Andrei Svechnikov scored the winner for the Canes. They go up 2-1 in that best-of-7 series. The Colorado Avalanche on the verge of getting swept, believe it or not. 8 o'clock face-off for them tonight at Vegas. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories, and certainly a big fixture here in St. Louis. 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting offering soil compost and mulch. That's what we did. We had it delivered to our home. We had stlcompost.com do all the work. We went to the top of the page, the cubic yards calculator. You put in a few dimensions, and they tell you exactly how much you need. We had it delivered to the house. It was great. This happened back in the spring. The mulch still looking great. It's an outstanding idea for your trees, for your flower beds, for any of that area that you need mulched. St. Louis Composting can do that for you. Compost for your garden, soil. They even have the Missouri Botanical Garden soil if you want to do that by the bag. stlcompost.com, or you can take your truck or trailer to one of 9 locations. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
The final home game of the season is here, St. Louis. Your St. Louis Battlehawks hit the field Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. against the Dallas Renegades at the Dome at America Center. It's Battlehawk Kids Day, packed with family fun, Battlehawks energy, and an Archie bobblehead giveaway while supplies last. Join Battlehawks Nation. Bring the whole crew and help close out the season the only way St. Louis knows how. Loud and proud. Caw-caw. Because caw is the law. Get tickets starting at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com or Ticketmaster.
Cards and Cubs. The rivalry returns to Busch Stadium May 29th, and we are kicking off the weekend early. I'm Tom Ackerman. Join me for a Redbird Roundtable featuring Ozzie Smith, Al Roboski, and Matt Adams. Thursday, May 28th at the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch Brewery. We're talking ball, enjoying a cold beer, and celebrating one of baseball's best rivalries. The doors open at 4:30. The Redbird Roundtable, Thursday, May 28th, a free event. Must be 21 or older to attend. Full details at KMOX.com.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At 6:51, let's check the roadways with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they're still not bad overall, Brian. The busiest stretch of highway we have right now is Highway 270 northbound, and it's off the pace north of Big Bend to Manchester, and then just a little north of there up through 64 Ladue. It's heavy one more time. Out to the west, we still look okay. Eastbound 70, just a little off the pace at Bryan Road. Southbound 61, though, looks great. Eastbound 64 looks great from 70 all the way in through 170, really. Northbound 55, the slowdown we had coming through 141 in Arnold to the Merrimack, that's thinned out for the time being. And there's just a little bit of a slowdown right now on the Illinois side on westbound 64 as you get past 159. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Capital One.
Offers no fees or minimums on checking accounts, and Capital One cafes are open 7 days a week to assist with your banking needs. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank guide. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Weather forecast from Joe Lundberg. We're going to have ourselves a cloudy, humid day today with a shower in the area late this afternoon, high 78. Tonight, cloudy and humid, thunderstorm in a couple of spots, low 67. We'll see some sunshine tomorrow, warm and humid thunderstorms in parts of the area. High of 84. Currently, it's 64 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:53. Researchers say proposed Medicaid work requirements could lead to more than 1 million missed cancer screenings nationwide. Rachel Pearson reports.
A new study published in JAMA Oncology projects millions of Americans could lose coverage under new federal rules set to begin in 2027, requiring some recipients to prove they're working and renew eligibility more often. Researchers at University of Chicago Medicine warned that could mean thousands of undetected breast, lung, and colorectal cancer cases, with younger adults and vulnerable populations expected to be hit the hardest. The study also estimates more than 150 avoidable deaths linked to delayed detection. Rachel Pearson, News Radio, 105.9 WBBM.
Microplastics have been found in all Illinois rivers. A study published last week by the Chicago-based Environment Illinois Research and Education Center sampled 31 waterways across Illinois and found microplastics at all the sites, including the Mississippi River.
We also have seen research that points to tiny bits of plastic altering the metabolic and brain behavior of fish.
Emily Kowalski, one of the lead researchers of the study, says that fact is alarming as researchers are now finding microplastics in humans.
We don't know all of the effects that might cause.
It's pitched as a way to make rides safer for women. Uber's feature that pairs female riders with female drivers. KMOX gives it a try and asks an attorney whether it holds up.
The option's been expanding city by city, and it lets a woman request a female driver or set one as a standing preference. KMOX's Beth Coughlin tried it on a late night coming through Lambert.
I was at Lambert, and it was 10-something at night. There's nobody at Lambert. I opened my Uber app to get a ride home, and I had this option that said women drivers. The only thing is I needed to wait an extra 5 minutes for a woman driver, and I was more than willing to do that.
How much it actually helps may come down to vetting. Uber and Lyft screen potential drivers through outside firms that run name and social security checks, often turned around in a day or two. Both companies have resisted fingerprint-based background checks, which dig deeper but do take longer and can disqualify more applicants. Attorney Jared Waldoff of the Simon Law Firm, who's represented rideshare clients, says a matching feature can't be the whole answer.
For sure, it will give female riders a better sense of safety, and that is important. That should be taken into consideration. But at the end of the day, again, it needs to be more than just a bullet point on a PowerPoint from Uber or Lyft to say we're being safe. It needs to be effective.
Also, with about a fifth of Uber's drivers in the U.S. being women, a match is not guaranteed everywhere. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Celebrity birthdays on this Tuesday, May 26th include rock singer Stevie Nicks. Happy birthday. She is 77 years old today. Country singer Hank Williams Jr., 76. Funk singer Lenny Kravitz. Happy birthday, 61 years old. And happy birthday, movie actor Matt Stone is 54.
Birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Tessa Greenspan, happy birthday. Sean Balint and Lorna Godwin. Happy birthday to Kate Wisman from the Spring family. Happy birthday to Kate. Also, happy birthday to Raina Ray.
This is the best birthday ever.
Hello, 4th of July.
Back-to-back Jack! Kerry Robinson, a hero tonight!
The Cubs visit St. Louis May 29th through the 31st for a weekend of baseball's best rivalry at Busch Stadium. The history is real. The fans are loud, and the energy in the ballpark is unmatched. Day or night, every pitch matters when these two meet. So get ready, Cardinals fans. This is what summer baseball in St. Louis is all about. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/tickets.
The weekend starts at Busch Stadium. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Louvre. With $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com. Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Right now, inflation is squeezing budgets, and global events can shake up the markets overnight. If you're close to retirement, you don't get unlimited do-overs, so this is not the time to just hope it works out. That's why Steve Auld and the team at the All Financial Group are hosting an upcoming educational seminar called Retirement Simplified, June 16th at the All Financial Group office. You'll learn how rising costs could drain your spending power, how political and economic headlines may impact your returns, and whether your retirement strategy is truly stress tested for today's economy. This event is complimentary, and you must reserve your seat today. 636-230-8824. You can also get more details online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. The All Financial Group is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the U.S. government or any other government agency.
6:58. Let's check the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the only place we really have any slow traffic on the interstates right now, Brian, is northbound 270. Things keep changing, but right now we're looking at delays. Doherty Ferry up the hill through Manchester all the way up through 64 and Ladue. It's just bogged down through there, but otherwise the rest of these interstates right now are looking good on both sides of the river. Next update is 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
65 degrees, cloudy downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman. These are the stories making news.
I'm Sean Malone. If County Executive Sam Page is leaving at the end of the year, what would be the point of fighting for his removal? I've got that story coming up.
Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
Excitement is building for the World Cup in the U.S. and a leg of it right here in St. Louis, but so are concerns about Ebola. I'm Maria Aquina. I'll tell you what's being done to screen people.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Mostly cloudy today and rather humid. A late day shower, high 78.
Won't have to worry about showers in Milwaukee if they have any, Joe, because there's a roof on that ballpark if they need it. The Cardinals are in Milwaukee. They also have Ollie Marmol offered to us today at noon on the Gas House Gang. We'll take a look in 15 minutes.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Face off in Texas today over which Republican gets to run for Senate, the incumbent or the man picked by President Trump. Here's ABC News Deputy Political Director Ben Siegel.
President Trump weighed in the runoff here, endorsed Ken Paxton, who is running a primary challenge against Senator John Cornyn, a 4-term veteran of the Senate, someone from the George Bush wing of the party, predates this Donald Trump moment of the Republican Party. And it's just sort of this new test of what the Republican Party is, who is a Republican in this last phase of the Trump administration of President Trump's 2 terms in office.
In a new message this morning, Iran's supreme leader says America will no longer have a safe place in the region. This after the Pentagon carried out what it calls self-defense attacks. 2 children and 2 adults have been killed this morning in Belgium after their school bus was hit by a train. 5 more children on the bus were hurt. This is ABC News. The head of the World Health Organization is warning that the Ebola outbreak in Central Africa will get worse before it gets better. There have been more than 900 suspected cases and more than 200 deaths believed linked to the virus. Here's ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton.
Right now, we are dealing with an even more vulnerable population and community with the disease that is spreading faster than what many health officials can keep up with. And a signal to this is the test positivity rate. The amount of tests that are coming back positive is significantly high. And when you see that as a public health official, the main concern that they have is they're not catching enough cases.
The White House is warning the Congolese soccer team members that they have to stay away from their home country or risk not being allowed into the U.S. for the World Cup in a couple of weeks. At the age of 95, saxophone great Sonny Rollins has died. Got his first sax at age 7, an alto. He went on to play tenor most of his life, said playing felt like nothing else ever to him. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 7:02, we have partly cloudy skies and 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, May 26th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Yesterday was Memorial Day, and as America's 250th anniversary approaches, do veterans feel any difference? KMOX asked them outside the Soldiers Memorial.
I just think this is wonderful, frankly. I like the sort of upsurge in patriotism. I like stuff like this. I like that we're paying attention to this.
About the same. It's just some people just express themselves more. That's
A little added pride. That's all I can say.
The new Downtown Entertainment District could be staffing security officers to patrol 24/7 in conjunction with the police department.
I asked Chief of Police Robert Tracy how this would work, and he emphasized nothing is set in stone and things are still being worked out. He tells us they wouldn't necessarily be utilizing his officers who would already be working, but they could be off-duty officers working in an arrangement similar to when the Police Foundation provided funding.
There are some money that doesn't go through secondary. It actually goes through the police department, and it's sort of like an overtime.
Tracy says they believe the current academy class, set to graduate 19 officers in June, will also help provide some staffing. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Is it worth filing a quo warranto to remove St. Louis County Executive Sam Page from office if he's not running for re-election? Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says yes. His term ending this year is irrelevant.
If we have the evidence, we will file for a quo. We just can't have people who are in office and violating the charter.
Hanaway says she believes there is enough time for a quo warranto to see a ruling before Page's tenure comes to a close. She adds they were able to finally access the evidence late last week after being delayed by HIPAA protections.
2 people charged after a weekend street takeover. It happened Sunday evening at the intersection of North 9th and Branch Streets, according to our partners at Fox 2. 2 of the drivers, 32-year-old Emmanuel Wilson and 20-year-old Mackenzie Davis, arrested and charged with stunt driving in connection with a street takeover. Davis was also charged with second-degree endangering the welfare of a child as her 3-year-old was in the backseat of her car during the takeover. They have both been issued summons to appear in court next month.
It's been 1 year since a drive-by shooting killed 2 young brothers, and their family still has no answers. 9-year-old Jordan Neal and his 10-year-old brother Richard Neal III were riding in a car near Union and Bircher last May 24th when police say a maroon Nissan pulled alongside and opened fire.
Jordan died that night. His brother survived the shooting but died last fall shortly after he turned 11. A year later, Fox 2 reports no one's been arrested. Anyone with information can contact Crime Stoppers, which is offering a $5,000 reward for tips that lead to an arrest.
St. Louis Public Schools and a local nonprofit are still looking for hundreds of students who went missing from city classrooms after last year's tornado. Miranda Walker-Jones, CEO of the Little Bit Foundation, tells KMOX some kids may have moved or being homeschooled.
You know, this is something that is probably a long time coming. We wish it had happened sooner, but as the year went by and we noticed that these children didn't pop up in other districts, we said, hey, this is an urgent call for us to make sure that that every kid is accounted for.
Jones says the effort is a partnership with the St. Louis Education Fund and the St. Louis Community Foundation's Rapid Response Team. Learn more about the effort when we go in depth at 8:11 here on KMOX.
Uber says its women driver option can make trips safer and pull more women into becoming drivers. KMOX tried it, then took some questions to a lawyer who sues over rideshare assaults.
Because there are 5 a.m. flights in your area, there are drivers in your area.
The feature works both ways. Women riders can ask for women drivers, and women drivers can choose to accept only female passengers. KMOX's Beth Conglin used it recently and found her driver liked it as much as she did.
She said it really kind of is actually a great selling point for her. She was a relatively new driver, but she said that she had heard a lot of feedback from women that they specifically chose her because she was a woman.
There is a legal fight in the background, though. 2 California drivers are suing, arguing the option discriminates against men under a California state civil rights law. Uber counters that protecting riders is a legitimate business need. Jared Waldorf, an attorney with the Simon Law Firm in St. Louis who's handled rideshare cases, says the bigger question is who's getting approved to drive in the first place.
Instead of just rolling them through some paperwork that you can sign on your phone in an app and be driving in 24, 48 hours, there needs to be a more in-depth look at the drivers and their backgrounds.
Waldorf adds that the assault figures the companies do release come from their own internal reporting. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Nexstar is asking a federal appeals court to loosen the restrictions keeping it from merging operations with Tegna. This is the deal that affects St. Louis stations KSDK, KTVI, and KPLR. The Desk.net report is that Nexstar isn't trying to overturn the injunction entirely, just narrow it to the markets where the 2 companies own competing major network stations. One of those is St. Louis.
The company says the current order has already costed millions of dollars. More than a dozen states of both political leanings as well as DirecTV still fighting the merger arguing it would lead to consolidated newsrooms and laid off journalists.
The potential Google data center could get $1 billion in tax breaks. The $15 billion data center project will include multiple data center buildings and is planned to span over 900 acres near I-70 and Highway 19. Construction should start later this year.
In order to receive the $1 billion in tax breaks, Google has to create 75 permanent jobs per data center building. That's according to the Business Journal. Google says it will also contribute $5 million annually to local entities and infrastructure. The Montgomery County Commission will hold a public hearing on the proposal June 8th.
We'll check traffic next at 7:08.
There's nothing like hearing your friends and family clearly. A grandchild's laugh, conversation with a friend, or the punchline to a joke. Charlie Brennan here with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler and her team understand that hearing is personal. That's why you'll always work with certified audiologists like Adam Voss, Bailey Campbell, and Dr. Colleen Bosler.
That's right, Charlie. We offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so our recommendations are based on what fits you best. With us, we follow best practice fitting methods to ensure your hearing aids are programmed precisely for your unique hearing needs. But our care doesn't end when you walk out the door. As we know, hearing aids require continued support, adjustments, and maintenance, and we offer these services at no extra cost to you. Because better hearing isn't just about devices, it's about reconnecting to the moments that matter most. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
The legendary Fast Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air and St. Louis baseball legend Jason Isringhausen. Izzy, what's going on, man?
Hey, you know what, Eddie boy, I've been pretty busy. Got to get out there and got to do the mowing.
Yep, I'll tell you what, when you get done mowing the grass.
Well, I do my best Forrest Gump impression with all of that mowing I have to do around the property.
Do it for St. Louis, do it.
Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, except at Fast Eddie's Bon Air. What are we going to get at Fast Eddie's?
Let me get it right. You can come on over to Fast Eddie's Bar Bon Air, located on the other side of Clark Bridge in beautiful Alton, Illinois. When you're done mowing the grass, come over here and lounge around with me on the beautiful outdoor patio with all the big screens, the live music playing, the hot chick on a stick.
What about that fancy surf and turf you came up with?
Man, I'm telling you what, that is meat and seafood on one stick. And it's called the Eddie. It's the king of all foods.
Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, come on over to that Clark Bridge and come see Fast Eddie's Bon Air in beautiful Alton, Illinois.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
7:10, let's check the roadways with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the busiest stretch of highway, Brian, continues to be northbound Highway 270. You've got slow traffic now, actually about midway up from Gravelly to 44, I'd say, or maybe approaching 44. It bogs down there. And then again, just north of Big Bend, all the way up to Ladue. It's just busy off the pace, a lot of traffic running through there northbound. If you're on South 270 coming down through Olive to Ladue, that looks great. Still look okay out west, southbound 61 on to eastbound 64 or 70. They're both good runs across the Missouri River Bridge. 55 down south. Coming up from Festus through that area, Richardson to 141 to the Merrimack. I'm not seeing any issues. And on the Illinois side, still doesn't look bad. Westbound 64 earlier, we had a little bit of a delay through 159. Right now, it looks okay, and it's still clear across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges. Don't forget this morning at 9 a.m. is when they scheduled to shut down those ramps for the next couple of weeks. North and southbound 159 on to westbound 64, and the westbound 64 exit to 159 as well. Next update is 720 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg with the very latest on our weather forecast.
KMOX AccuWeather, mostly cloudy today and rather humid. There can be a late day shower, high 78. Mostly cloudy and humid tonight with a shower or even a thunderstorm in a couple of spots, low 67. For tomorrow, clouds breaking for some sunshine, warm but humid. There can be a stray thunderstorm. Most of the day will be rain-free, the high 84. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 64 in Florissant, 63 in St. Peter's, cloudy sky, 65 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:12. East St. Louis police have implemented a city ordinance to crack down on large gatherings. The ordinance announced Saturday and prohibits loitering, hanging out, or gathering in parking lots in front of businesses, outside clubs, or along downtown streets. Both the East St. Louis Police Department and government posted the announcement on Facebook over the weekend, saying it's intended to support public safety in business areas. The ordinance also allows for arrests and vehicle searches of any violators.
Missouri's Attorney General says an emerging kind of ATM is becoming the gateway car to fraud.
Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says they are suing CoinFlip for predatory hidden fees and enabling fraud. I asked if she believes, like video lottery terminals, these machines need to be banned.
I think there's probably a regulatory scheme. I don't have anything against cryptocurrency, but what we have to do is guarantee that when people put money into these machines, that they'll get something of value out.
Hanaway says if you receive a call from the IRS or police demanding you deposit money into a crypto ATM, it is likely a scam call. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Missouri's new nuclear task force now digging into the realities of nuclear power, including the cost to build it and the value it could bring. Chairman Kurt Schaefer's the director of the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. He says the demand for more energy has been increasing since 2019.
It's generally accepted now that we're looking at least 3% growth every year in energy demand, at least until 2040. The United States has never experienced energy growth in demand at that level. So that's why you're seeing this renewed effort looking at nuclear, because it really is one of the only options that can satisfy that type of baseload growth.
The task force created by Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe brings together state leaders, lawmakers, and utility representatives from across Missouri, members studying how nuclear energy could fit into the state's future, with recommendations expected in a report to the governor later this year.
There's a new online community dedicated to helping people discover specialty coffee, and it's headquartered right here in St. Louis. Andrew Potler is the St. Louis-based creator of Pull and Pour Coffee, a website designed to help coffee lovers explore the science behind different flavors, brewing methods, and coffee origins.
I really never enjoyed coffee growing up, so it was really not until I tasted what I would consider good coffee, the lighter roasted specialty coffee, almost didn't even seem to classify as coffee, and it totally changed my perception.
Potler tells Missouri Net the website started as a passion project, but has grown exponentially since COVID, when home brewing became more popular as people began to work from home.
It's 7:15.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney. A 3-run first inning against Matthew Liberatore proved to be enough for Jacob Mizorowski. Mizorowski equaled his career high of 12 strikeouts and got the win in a 5-1 victory for the Brewers over the Cardinals yesterday.
He was absolutely dominant, pounding the strike zone, fastball, slider, didn't matter, up over 100 on most of his pitches. Libby was good, except he gave up 3 runs in the first inning. Yelich hit the home run, and all the runs that were needed happened early.
Liberatore managed a career high by striking out 10 in the game. He walked 2, and Bryson Motts made his major league debut, allowing 2 runs.
Yeah, and it could have been worse, and the Cardinals did need those innings from him. I'm glad he got a chance to pitch after getting washed out in Cincinnati.
In game 2 of the series, it's right-hander Michael McGreevy against tough left-hander Kyle Harrison. Harrison has won 5 out of 6, 3-3 for McGreevy. We're on the air at 5:45. Ricky will have the lineups at 6:30.
Matthew, what are your thoughts on how he pitched?
Yeah, just didn't get ahead first time through. After that, he was able to fill up the zone, land everything, and able to get some swing and miss, 10 punch outs, only walked 2, but the first time through was took some good swings off him.
Game like this, you look for moral victories. I thought Pedro had a nice day at the plate, threw out a couple of base runners. That helped at least.
Yeah, he did a nice job. He's done that all year, just controlling the running game. Some tough blocks today with Bryson on the mound as well, so he did his job behind the plate. Unfortunately, we just couldn't string anything together against our start. He did. Good velo, good slider, did a really nice job against us.
Yeah. Bryson, you mentioned him, big league game, first one of those. A lot of emotions, I'm sure, for him and for you.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was good to get him out there once we got him going, get him in that game, give him enough time to feel good about it. Gave us 3 innings, allowed us to rest our bullpen, and we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
That's Chip Carey with Ollie Marmol on Cardinals TV after the Cardinals loss to Jacob Mizorowski and the Brewers. The good news is the Cardinals are in the thick of this NL Central race. They're 2.5 out to the Brewers right now, but the Cubs have lost 9 in a row. They fell to the Pirates yesterday 2-1. They are 3.5 back in third place. Cincinnati 4 back in fourth place, and the Pirates 4.5 back last place in the NL Central, but with a record of 28-26. They would be the 4th best team in the American League. Believe it or not, that's how good the NL Central is. It's unbelievable. I know it's early, but if you're looking at the wild card right now, the top 3 teams in the National League would be the Padres, the Cardinals, and the Diamondbacks, and the Cubs would be on the outs. Diamondbacks have won 3 in a row. The Houston Astros had a combined no-hitter yesterday. That's the first time since 2024 that there's been a no-hitter, and that happened yesterday. The Astros saw that in a 9-0 win over the Texas Rangers. Andrei Svechnikov scored at 14:06 of overtime as the Carolina Hurricanes defeated the Montreal Canadiens 3-2 to take a 2-1 lead in the Eastern Conference Final. In the NBA Finals, we are halfway there. The New York Knicks swept the Cleveland Cavaliers. 130-93 was the win for the Knicks. They are in the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. Cut of the game, sponsored by the Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The smartest way to do your homework is Ackerman Lumber.
Thinking about building a new deck? Start with the trained professionals at Ackerman Lumber, home of one of the largest inventories of decking materials and accessories in Missouri. From treated lumber and cedar to all the leading names in decking, their team will help you choose the perfect materials for your dream deck. Then finish it off with endless railing options, balusters, and LED deck lighting to bring your backyard to life. Ackerman Lumber will not be undersold on in-stock decking materials, guaranteed. Do it yourself? Their team is ready to help. Also, check out their expanded paint department with custom color matching. And don't forget, follow Ackerman Lumber on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok to catch weekly deal specials and project inspiration all season long. Or visit us at hackmanstl.com. Locations in St. Peters, Troy, and Pacific, Missouri.
Well, this is fun. Now, you still have time to get this. Anheuser-Busch Brewery Experiences inviting you this Thursday to the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch. Join me, Tom Ackerman, with Ozzie Smith, Al Raboski, and Matt Adams for a free event, 21 plus. It's called the Redbird Roundtable. So we'll have ice-cold beer. We'll have an unforgettable experience. You can imagine the Wizard, the Mad Hungarian, and Big City. We'll have some great stories to tell, and we'll talk about this Cardinals team. Now, I understand that the capacity is 500. That's bigger than I thought, actually. I didn't know it was that many. 500 people. We're in the 400s at this point. So there's not a lot left, but you can grab one. We're going on Thursday, so you got some time here. It's Tuesday. This is a free event, BudweiserTours.com. BudweiserTours.com.
Now the news at 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:20 on this Tuesday, May 26th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman alongside Tom Ackerman. Let's check the roadways now with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Brian, I mentioned some slow traffic on North 270 in our last report approaching 44. Turns out there's a minor crash. Well, there's EMS on the scene. Maybe it's not minor. They are blocking, it looks like, the right lane now. It's the exit lanes. North 270 getting onto eastbound 44 in Watson. So the right-hand lane of those two exit lanes blocked. So traffic is bogging down now north of Tesson Ferry up to that crash scene. And then you're slow again approaching Big Bend to Manchester. And just north of Manchester, it's busy up to Ladue. So a lot more volume in the last 10 minutes. Doing parts of that crash there again. North 270 at the ramp on eastbound 44 in Watson. The right lane is blocked there. It looks like we have a train crossing Route 3 at Monsanto. Northbound Route 3 is a solid jam back past Queenie at this time. On the Illinois side, still looks okay on 64 through 159 and across the bridges. Do have a serious crash with injuries, overturned vehicle, Highway 47 near Highway W. That's east of Troy, maybe a little bit closer to Winfield. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Don't miss the final home game of the season. Your St. Louis Battlehawks take on the Dallas Renegades Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. at the Dome. It's Battlehawks Kids Day. Plus, fans can score an Archie bobblehead while supplies last. Tickets start at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com. Caw-caw.
Mostly cloudy, humid today with a shower in the area late this afternoon, high 78. Cloudy and humid tonight with a thunderstorm in a couple of spots, low 67. Tomorrow, clouds break for some sunshine, warm and humid. A thunderstorm in parts of the area, says Joe Lundberg, and a high of 84. It's cloudy and 65 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 7:22.
We have a couple of World War II veterans, 102 years old and 101 years old young, that will be there.
Grafton Mayor Mike Morrow on this June 6th dedication to taking on the cliff by Army Rangers at Point du Hoc on Omaha Beach in Normandy, France, 82 years ago. At the Visitor Center, there's a recreation of that cliff, complete with 12 bronze statues recreating the Rangers climb.
We've got seating set up for over 500 people. Parking is going to be at Raging Rivers, and that'll start at 7 a.m. in the morning. Park your car at Raging Rivers. We got 3 shuttles that'll be running back and forth over to the site all that morning. It kicks off at 9:30 sharp.
The actual dedication of Pointe du Hoc takes place June 6th at 9:30 a.m. Morrow says there will be plenty to see.
We'll have a VFW and also a American Legion honor guard to help with the Leech Lake Nation Ojibwe tribe, which is going to be coming down from the headwaters of Minnesota to do the actual color guard posting.
Gas prices are 3 cents cheaper per gallon today than they were last week in St. Louis. That's according to Gas Buddy, who says the regional average gas price is $4.37 today. Gas prices fell about the same amount for all of Missouri, an average $4.18 per gallon today. In Illinois, prices are down almost 15 cents from last week. The average price per gallon finally dipped under $5 in Illinois, coming in at $4.90 today.
How you use money as an adult influenced by your experience with it as a kid.
Financial strategist Lev Mandel is author of the journal-style book called Money is Weird. One of the first questions he asks readers to consider is what was their earliest memory of money?
We form these feelings around money, habits around how we behave around money, ideas around money from our parents, from early on, and they stay with us, whether or not we're consciously thinking about them all the time.
For example, Mandel says you may have been told you had a hole in your pocket or were a penny pincher, and that may still trigger feelings that impact your choices. His hope is that people will explore those feelings and then learn to slow down and make intentional decisions with money that align with lifestyles and goals. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Also in the news this morning, bootlegging in the Ozarks, the setting for the Moonshine Women, a new novel of historic fiction by South City's Michelle Collins Anderson. The USA Today bestseller follows the Strong sisters who take over their father's bootlegging business during Prohibition.
Anderson says she got the idea when she stumbled across this factoid.
Female bootleggers outnumbered men 5-1. And I just couldn't get over that. That just astounded me. So I was very curious about that and wanted to pursue that in my research. So I dug in a little bit further, and what I discovered was that women at that time, many states didn't allow women to be searched. So a law officer, even if he suspected that she had some moonshine on her person, was not allowed to check it out. So for that reason, women were very wonderful means of getting moonshine from point A to point B. They had almost a whole fashion industry that sprung up around that. They might have it on their persons, like something that's a custom-made sort of galvanized steel container on either side of the rib cage, and just throw on a coat. You know, you'd never know it was there. There were vests where you could slip in flasks or 750 milliliter bottles. They had it in their stockings and their petticoats, belts, you name it. Women were able to really get by with a lot that way. And the other angle was that even if like a man was moving a load of moonshine in a car, like the Model A Fords that were very popular back then, if there was a woman in the front seat with him, it was very common that the law would just let them go through. They did not want to pull over a car that had a woman, even if they were able to say or arrest her for doing something illegal, like helping get the moonshine across the state line or something. They just didn't want to arrest her because at that time, which wasn't all that long ago, juries were only made up of men. So there were 12 men in a jury. And if there was a woman in front being tried, a woman that looked maybe a lot like their mother or their grandma or their sister or daughter, they were very reluctant to throw her in the slammer. So most of the time the women got off. So the law enforcement just considered it a waste of their time. So I think that's a big part of why women came to be so integral to this bootlegging situation.
That's author Michelle Collins Anderson, author of The Moonshine Women. She was a guest on Book Chat with Debbie Monterey in St. Louis Public Library.
It's 7:27. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
McKelvey Homes. Folks, McKelvey Homes has communities worth your time, and I highly recommend you go to McKelveyHomes.com to learn more about Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon, Missouri. The new display is open with special opening savings. McKelvey has been building in St. Louis for families since 1898. That's a long time ago. You'll get legendary quality, prime locations, people who stand for our community. That would be Jim Brennan, the president of McKelvey Homes. They're like a great family. He's like a family member to me, just a great friend, great partner. McKelvey Homes, offers available for the spring event until May 31st. So you have until the end of the week to go to McKelveyHomes.com and save big money. Move up to McKelvey with Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. You're going to find walking trails. You're going to find proximity to a great school district, Fort Zumwalt. And you're going to find, I think, a community where you can have a fresh start. You know, people are looking for new places to live in the St. Louis area, and Strawberry Farms is perfect. Where did they get their name? The land's history was strawberry fields. So there's a berry patch still there honoring that land's history. Strawberry Farms. Visit McKelvey Homes to schedule a tour and move up to McKelvey.
Here with my friend Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, I think this is going to be a strange season for real estate. Just kind of feel it in my gut. What can people do apropos of their mortgage to put themselves in a better position to get that house?
You know what, Dave, that's a great question. There's a bidding wars that are going to happen this spring. You want to get the house. This is how you're going to make things better. Number one, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. That means you can go into our portal and generate the letter and edit it for any amount you want up to the amount you're approved without chasing the loan officer. Number two, the bagel loan, no closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. It's a bagel. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Add that money you would normally pay onto your bid and beat the other offers out. And you know what? The third thing is we can close fast. 10 days. They're going to look away at the other offers because most lenders take as much as 30 days to get done.
You can call or text Stewie at his personal cell phone, 314-324-4440, or you can Google the bagel loan, NMLS 226715.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
At 7:30, we have partly cloudy skies and 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today's Tuesday, May 26th. Good morning. I'm Brian Feldman.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got this crash, folks, on northbound 270. It's the ramp to get onto eastbound 44 and Watson. It's in the Watson lane, the right-hand lane. So left lane's the only one of the two-lane ramp that's available right now. North 270, not a solid jam, but it's busy in pockets from just north of 55. Pretty slow the whole way up from about Sappington to that point. So it's pretty busy on that run. And then from Big Bend all the way up to Ladue, you've got still going one more time. South 270, Olive down to Ladue, that still looks okay. Still okay out west. Southbound 61 coming down onto eastbound 64 and 70 out of St. Charles County. All right. Starting to see a little bit of volume. Westbound 64, Clayton Skinker headed out through about Big Bend. Northbound 55 looks good at Richardson. And north of 270, still have delays on Route 3 at Monsanto. Actually runs up from about Jerome up to almost 8th Street. Southbound just backed up at 8th Street, not as extensive. Westbound 64, a little slowdown, approaching 157 and past the 70 split, but otherwise Illinois interstates look good right now as well. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Meteorologist Joe Lundberg says we're going to have some wet weather coming our way. Mostly cloudy today, humid, but a shower later this afternoon, high of 78 degrees. Tonight, cloudy, humid, possible thunderstorm in a couple spots, a low of 67. Right now, we have partly cloudy skies and 68 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:32. St. Louis residents have the opportunity to speak with local leaders this morning about the Rams settlement money. A public hearing on how to spend the money is set for 11 a.m. today at City Hall. The current proposal allots $110 million to North St. Louis recovery efforts. That's almost half the settlement amount. The rest has been proposed to fund downtown improvements and infrastructure.
Later this summer, the new downtown entertainment district will begin funding a 24/7 security patrol. Chief of Police Robert Tracy says they're working with the district's board on how that security will work, adding their officers will play a part in staffing it.
I haven't finalized how I'm going to do that, but some will be with additional money like we did with the Police Foundation a few years ago. There'll be some additional money. I put additional on somewhat overtime, not secondary, not straight time.
Tracy emphasized a lot can still change as talks continue.
What's the latest on the investigation into the St. Louis County executive violating the charter, working a side job?
Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says after a false start, they have begun to dig into the evidence that allegedly shows St. Louis County Executive Sam Page being paid for his work with SSM.
Because of HIPAA, a lot of the health information was password protected. So we're just kind of now really digging into them. I would say we're going to reach a conclusion in the next couple of weeks.
Asked if there is enough time to remove Page from office with a quo warranto, considering he is not running for re-election, Hanaway says there is. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A school in St. Charles closing its doors, St. Joseph Catholic School in Josephsville, ending its programming for kindergarten through 8th grade and transferring those students to St. Paul Catholic School in St. Paul, which is about 5 miles away. St. Joseph's will become a preschool and absorb St. Paul's preschooler students as well. The move comes as several other schools in the region have closed, including St. Louis Voices Academy, St. Michael's Episcopal Day School in Clayton, plus a handful of others.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Mark Scores. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Get everything you need for the entire job delivered. From lumber to drywall, flooring, and fixtures, get it all delivered from the Home Depot. With same day, next day, or any day delivery. Staying on track and on time is crucial to your job. That's why it's our job to get you what you need when you need it. We deliver the supplies. You deliver the results. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out?
Spruce, spruce, spruce. It's Spruce, the weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people, pets, and bees when used as directed. Spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Spruce, pet friendly, weed deadly. Find wherever weed killers are sold.
At 7:36, time now for your money report. It's sponsored by BUC Bank.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. The war in Iran has transformed the U.S. into the world's emergency oil supplier, plugging the gap created by the near closure of the Strait of Hormuz. But that record export surge is now peaking, according to crude market analysts. U.S. inventories are shrinking rapidly, and shipments overseas are likely to fall next month. A slowdown in exports could put upward pressure on the price of oil. Turning to trading, the ceasefire in the Middle East is still holding, and efforts to reach a deal continue to gather pace. Stock futures are heading for a higher open, building on Friday's gains. And Ferrari has unveiled its first fully electric vehicle, the Luce. However, the $640,000 car is drawing lots of negative reactions from industry analysts and social media influencers. They compare the four-door, five-seater to mass-market EVs. The car's launch also comes as demand for high-end electric vehicles has become much harder to predict. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Our Idea is Ready to Launch vision.
This is the create great jobs vision. This is the we need more space vision. This is Busey, where your business visions become realizations through securing capital for growth and comprehensive strategies that ensure a prosperous future, because thriving businesses mean thriving people and thriving communities. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Mizzou football will be here before you know it. Join us for the 100th anniversary of Memorial Stadium with season tickets. Join the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist and get ready to lock in tickets for 2026. The home schedule is highlighted by games against Florida, Texas A&M, Texas, Kentucky, and Oklahoma. Don't wait to reserve your spot. Join the waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Working hard but still falling behind? Learn how real estate investing can help you build income and move forward with purpose. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
Hey, it's 7:40. Let's check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still busy on North 270, Tom. This traffic report's a service of the United Way of Greater St. Louis, helpingpeople.org. We still have that crash in the right lane on the exit ramp from North 270 on to eastbound 44 Watson. So northbound 270 is bogged down, approaching Tesson Ferry up to there. And then from just north of 44 all the way up to Ladue, it's busy the whole way through. South 270, though, Olive down to Ladue looks great. We still look great out west. Eastbound 70 and 64 coming in from Wentzville across the Missouri River Bridges. Southbound 61's okay. It looks like Highway 47 may be shut down. This was an overturned vehicle, possibly a head-on collision as well. On 47, just immediately west of Highway W. It's about midway between Troy and Winfield. I do see delays there right now. Westbound 64, Hampton out to Hanley. That's a little heavy. Eastbound 64, barely a slowdown at the Interbelt. And northbound Route 3, Jerome up through Monsanto. Not a solid jam, but it's still mostly stop as opposed to go because of an earlier incident. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
When our neighbors need support, United Way brings people together, helping families, helping children, helping people through everyday challenges, and building hope for tomorrow. Unite with us at helpingpeople.org.
At 7:41, we bring in meteorologist Joe Lundberg for our weather forecast. And Joe, it sounds like we have a little bit of wet weather coming our way.
We do. There's some moisture that's to our south right now, and it will drift in our general direction during the course of the day today. I think between now and early afternoon, it stays to our south. And then late this afternoon, there could be a shower. Through it all, lots of clouds, our high 78. Tonight, there could be a shower or thunderstorm in the area, but really doesn't look like it does very much overnight tonight. That was 67. Those clouds will give way to some sun tomorrow. A warm, humid day. It gets up to 84. And again, there could be a spotty shower or thunderstorm. Most of the day looks rain-free. Thursday, changeable skies, some sunshine and warm mid-80s, although there may be a pop-up thunderstorm in the afternoon. Friday, clouds and sun, a stray thunderstorm at worst, the high 82. And not bad Saturday with some sunshine. We get to 82. Currently at 64 at St. Peter's, 67 in Florissant, mostly cloudy, 70 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. Sports in 2 minutes at 7:43. President Trump says this latest incident of violence with shots fired outside the White House on Saturday is yet another reason to fund the billion-dollar ballroom. But it's a tune not everyone wants to waltz to. Here's ABC senior White House correspondent Selena Wang.
That pushback is coming from even within the president's own party over his $1 billion request in taxpayer funds to build it. Now, the Justice Department is arguing that this ballroom is necessary for national security, describing Saturday's shooting as an attempted assassination of the president.
President Trump's role as kingmaker gets its next test today. ABC's Jim Ryan in Texas, where a Trump-supported challenger faces an incumbent U.S. senator in a Republican runoff election.
In the final round of campaign ads, current Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton has highlighted President Trump's support.
Trump gives his complete and total endorsement to America First patriot Ken Paxton.
But the incumbent isn't giving up on MAGA voters.
Senator John Cornyn has a proven record of supporting President Trump's agenda. Senator
Cornyn has heavily outspent Paxton to get to today's runoff. Paxton hopes that's outweighed by Trump's latest post on X, in which the president said Cornyn has been, quote, very disloyal to me. Jim Ryan, ABC News in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Beware of the vacation budget buster, warns Christian Klein, editor-in-chief of foodfamilytravel.com. Klein suggests calculating what a hotel stay far from your desired locale actually adds to your trip.
Pay attention to where you're booking. If you're staying outside of a city because you think you got a really great deal in a hotel room, but you want to commute to the city, you're going to spend hundreds of dollars in transportation costs if you're taking Uber, Lyft, or taxi. So be aware of all of those things.
Klein says many people are also caught off guard when arriving at a hotel, only to find the resort fees and other costs are added on. So you might want to look before you book.
6 men allegedly connected to a series of burglaries at the homes of star athletes, including Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, now under arrest in South America. ABC's Hannah Battah has more.
Back in 2024, the Chiefs were just minutes into a game when the thieves broke into Kelce's home and stole jewelry, watches, cash, and other luxury merchandise. Hours earlier, a burglary was reported at Mahomes' home. And the following month, authorities say the same crew targeted the home of Milwaukee Bucks player Bobby Portis during a game.
Ins and Outs, sponsored by Innsbruck Resort, where every day is the weekend. I'll keep it real simple. Jacob Mizorowski shut down the Cardinals. That's the story. 12 strikeouts, 7 innings, 1 run on 2 hits. He was unbelievable last night. He was firing pitches, triple digits, one after the other. It looked like with ease, 103-mile-an-hour fastball, just blowing away the Cardinals. And this is one of the best pitchers in all of baseball, Jacob Mizorowski. Without question, the 24-year-old is special. Now, the Cardinals lost the game 5-1. Hats off to Matthew Liberatore, because I got to admit, I thought things were going to go sideways in a hurry after he gave up 3 runs in the first inning, but he didn't give up anything after that. He went 5. He struck out 10. Not too shabby. Bryson Motts came into the game. I think this is an underplayed story here. Motts, a very talented lefty, got his chance because of the rain situation that forced the Cardinals into a bit of a shorthanded situation moving into the series in Milwaukee. They wanted that arm at the ready because they've had to use some bullpen arms and had to shuffle some things around. And Motts went 3 innings of relief. He gave up 2 runs. Here's President of Baseball Operations Chaim Bloom on KMOX.
Bryson has earned this opportunity. This guy was our minor league pitcher of the year last year. Another guy, you rewind 2 years, it was pretty much a lost 2024 for him. And somebody that really embraced the challenge of having a productive offseason leading into 2025, took full advantage of the resources that were available to him last year with our new pitching leadership, and got himself onto the 40-man roster, has been in our AAA rotation, and has put himself in position to get this opportunity. Funky left-hander. He's got different fastballs, different breaking balls, has really matured in his understanding of how to use them all.
Cardinals have been using Gordon Graceffo as a bridge reliever following starters. Watch for Motts possibly to grab that at some point, as the lefty is highly thought of, as Chaim said right there, within the Cardinals organization. Cardinals are 2.5 out in the Central. They're in second place all by themselves. Cubs are 3.5 out. They've lost 9 in a row. They lost to the Pirates yesterday, 2-1. Reds beat the Mets 7-2. Also on sports on a Sunday morning yesterday, or on Sunday, was U.S. Senator Eric Schmidt. He talked about a lot of things on the show, including he's adamant that SLU needs to be in the Big East, and he is trying to make that happen personally, he said. And one of the biggest reasons, money. Take a listen.
The payout, Tom, in the A-10 for a school is about $400,000. A payout in the Big East right now is $7 million a year. Okay, so that makes a big difference for the long-term viability of that program too. And again, we're not trying to sell fool's gold here. Is where they rightfully belong. That is, if you were to look around the country, what are the schools and the programs that look like St. Louis University? They're in the Big East. And so I just think it's something that'd be great for St. Louis. It'd be great for the school. It'd be great for fans to be able to go to those games down at Chaffetz and watch those teams play here.
Full conversation with Senator Schmidt at KMOX.com. Sports on a Sunday morning. Stanley Cup playoffs. Carolina takes a 2-1 lead on Montreal with a 3-2 overtime win in Montreal. Andrei Svechnikov with the winner in OT. NBA, it was the Knicks just clobbering the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they sweep the series. They are in the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. They won it 130-93 last night. Innsbruck, I'm sure, was the place to be this past weekend for Memorial Day weekend. What a great time. In fact, there might be some listeners heading home right now from an awesome weekend at Innsbruck. Well, good for them, because fishing, hiking, swimming, boating, hanging out with friends, eat, drink, bonfires, toasted marshmallows. I mean, it's the spot, man, for kids age 2 to 92. I mean, it's a very, very special place to be. It really is. Innsbruck-resort.com, Innsbruck-resort.com. If you want to check out any of the homes to rent or buy. Some people like it so much they live there permanently now. I don't see why not. It's only an hour from downtown. It's Innsbruck, Innsbruck-resort.com. Let's do our parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports, sports betting the way it should be. I'm going to say it again. I don't know how many times I've said this over the last 2 weeks. I'm going to say it one more time. The New York Knicks are going to win the NBA title. Did I not tell you this? Back when they were playing the Sixers, even before that, the New York Knicks. Now, this winning the title, the odds are starting to dwindle here. I mean, you had a chance to really get in, but I'm going to give it to you one more time here. They are going to win the NBA title. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think I'm right about this one. Yesterday, they were plus 340 to win the title. Let's see what it is today. To win the NBA championship, the New York Knicks are plus 340 is what I still have. Is that right? I don't know. But the Spurs are a 5-point dog at Oklahoma City. I'm going to go there too. I'm going to say Spurs plus 5 tonight at Oklahoma City. And then you can take a look at what you think the Knicks are going to win the title. I think it's a slam dunk. I think this is their year to do it. And I think they're going to beat the Spurs, the Thunder. I don't care who it is. That is our parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
Hey, Missouri, it's game time. Start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high limits, player-friendly pricing, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie at circusports.com. The action starts now, Missouri. Experience the difference with Circus Sports. Bet like a pro.
Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Tarps Off Mania is sweeping Cardinals Nation. But before you take your shirt off, make sure it's a shirt worth taking off. Friday before Cards and Cubs at Busch, the DGS broadcasts live from patios starting at 3 p.m., counting down to first pitch. And Rally House will be on site with gear so good, you might actually want to keep your shirt on. It's your city. It's your house. It's Rally House with DGS live from patios Friday, May 29th. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At 7:52, let's check the roadways with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Brian, we're still slow on North 270 Gravelway up to 44. That right lane of the two-lane exit ramp onto 44 East Watson is still blocked, and it's still heavy north there all the way up to Ladue. South 270 Alva Ladue busy. Eastbound 364, the right lane's coming through Bennington, a little heavy. Looks like traffic's getting through now 47 at W, but there's still a jam both directions there because of an overturned and possibly head-on collision crash. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley, pretty slow. Northbound Route 3, Judith up through Monsanto still looks pretty congested as well. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, we're looking at a cloudy day, humid, shower in the area late this afternoon, high 78. Tonight, humid, thunderstorm in a couple of spots, low 67. Tomorrow, warm and humid, but clouds break for some sunshine, a high of 84. It's 66 right now.
The news continues at 7:53. KMOX has a follow-up to a story we first told you about 2 years ago. 12 life-size bronze statues of the U.S. Army Rangers mounted on the cliff of the Grafton Visitor Center, now a reality.
This depicts Point Duhok on Omaha Beach in Normandy, France. Army Rangers climbing up the cliff on D-Day 1944 to take out the German guns on top of that cliff to assist with the invasion. Grafton Mayor Michael Morrow.
It's a national memorial. It's going to be extremely large. And as you know, we just had our ferry open full time now, which has been running 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And that's bringing in all of our tourists and so forth, plus all of our commuters. We've already seen a big uptick in the travel schedules of everybody.
June 6 marks 82 years since the D-Day invasion. Morrow tells KMOX there will be commemorations in Grafton, including a dance that evening at the loading dock. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
There's both bad news and good news about the state of Illinois' rivers. A study published last week by the Chicago-based Environment Illinois Research and Education Center sampled 31 waterways across Illinois and found microplastics in all of the bodies of water. Emily Kowalski, one of the lead researchers of the study, says there is some good news.
In the Mississippi River, we found microfibers, microfragments, and microfilms. We did not actually find microbeads at any of the sites that we tested. That's a good thing.
Kowalski says that's probably due to Illinois' ban on products that contain microbeads. We'll get more at 8:24 a.m.
A new study warns proposed federal Medicaid changes could have major public health consequences. Rachel Pearson has the details.
Researchers from UChicago Medicine say new work requirements and stricter eligibility checks beginning in 2027 may cause more than 7 million adults to lose their Medicaid coverage, leading to missed cancer screenings across the country. The study estimates more than 1 million mammograms and screenings for lungs and colorectal cancer could be skipped in just 2 years, potentially leaving thousands of cancer cases undetected until later, harder to treat stages. Researchers say the biggest impact would likely fall on younger adults and lower income communities. Rachel Pearson, News Radio, 105.9 WBBM.
What's your relationship with money? Here's Megan Lynch, who spoke with a financial life strategist who says it's important to merge your finances with your values and identity.
A lot of financial advice feels like you're going to a lecture.
Lev Mandel is author of the workbook, Money is Weird. Mandel says before you set a financial plan, it's valuable to explore how you relate to money.
What money feels like, our habits around money, our behaviors, and really looking at that, slowing down and building awareness around that.
He points out it's freeing to release yourself of judgment around how you use money and then learn how to make intentional decisions that are right for you. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
KMOX News Time, 7:57.
Road trip through America's musical past as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra teams up with the sensational doo-wop project for a night of vintage soul and seamless harmonies. Experience the iconic sounds that shaped American music through the evolution of doo-wop, including favorites like Sherry and Walk Like a Man, along with doo-wopified renditions of modern hits and more. Buckle up for a feel-good celebration that brings generations together, featuring the Doo-Wop Project and your St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. Saturday, May 30th at Powell Hall. Tickets on sale now at slso.org.
It's made easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way.
Yep. So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
Yeah. And now at Staples, save 40% on custom cards, photo gifts, wrapping paper, banners, and more.
Big news. Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. In 613, exclusions apply.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Shows Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
Roger Brand is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, they cleared that crash finally. North 270 at the ramp getting onto eastbound 44 in Watson. So traffic's thinned out from Gravois up to 44, but it's still slow north 270, 44 all the way up to Ladue. South 270 kind of busy, Olive to Ladue. Southbound 61 looks good onto eastbound 64 or eastbound 70. Eastbound 64 is just kind of slow from McKnight through 170. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley. You've got heavy traffic there. Route 3 is looking better at Monsanto. It's a little busy, but it's not jammed like it was. And if you're on 47 between Winfield and Troy, they cleared that crash at W. From the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Polls now open in Texas, and the biggest of the runoff races being decided today puts incumbent Republican Senator John Cornyn against State Attorney General Ken Paxton. President Trump endorsed Paxton in his bid to unseat Cornyn. The winner faces Democratic nominee James Tallarico in November. A new message from Iran's supreme leader this morning declaring America will no longer have a safe place in the region. This after the U.S. hit Iranian targets in what's being described as self-defense strikes. Secretary of State Marco Rubio saying the Strait of Hormuz will be opened one way or another, with the U.S. and Iran still negotiating over a peace deal.
It's going to take a couple days to settle on even down to the disagreements over a word, sentence. So we'll have to work through that.
A deadly train crash this morning in Belgium. A minibus carrying students to a school for special needs was hit on the tracks. 2 of the students on the bus were killed. This is ABC News. New Jersey Democrats expressing new concerns about an ICE detention facility in Newark, where a hunger strike is now underway.
While attempting to tour the Delaney Hall Migrant Detention Facility in Newark, New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill says,
"We've been working with ICE to get into the facility. I was just denied that."
Senator Andy Kim visited Delaney Hall over the weekend, speaking with those inside.
There is a woman that was pregnant that says she's not getting full OBGYN care. There's a woman that had a miscarriage that said that she did not get the care that she needed.
Delaney Hall is privately run with about 300 detainees. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Remember the cave boys in Thailand? Well, another search is now underway for 7 villagers trapped inside a flooded cave in the East Asian country of Laos. They had been looking for gold when heavy rain flooded the exit to the cave. Some of the same rescuers who helped in Thailand are said to be helping out in Laos as well. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have cloudy skies, 67 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Tuesday, May 26th. I'm Megan Lynch. How do St. Louis veterans feel on Memorial Day as America enters a new war in Iran? Mixed feelings ranging from anger at the reason given to enter the war to appreciation for those in it.
Even though we don't have a draft, these guys are, they're doing their best, and they're patriotic people, and they're serving in a war that I would consider unjust.
Ones that are fighting right now, they shouldn't be there. That's the way it is. That's the way I feel. I mean, it's something that happened. It's a diversion.
It makes me honor them more. They've got a lot more to deal with than they had back in World War II.
So far, the United States has suffered more than a dozen casualties during the Iran war. St. Louis residents have the opportunity to speak with local leaders about Rams settlement money today. There's a public hearing on how to spend that money, 11 a.m. at City Hall. The current proposal allots $110 million for North St. Louis recovery efforts. That's almost half the settlement amount. The rest has been proposed to fund downtown improvements and infrastructure. The new downtown entertainment district will soon begin funding a security presence to patrol the area. How will it work with the city's police department?
Chief of Police Robert Tracy says they are still in talks with the district about the logistics, emphasizing it's still very early. He says they believe a new wave of incoming officers will help.
19 offices come June 12th. We just put 21 officers in this week. And then you saw that we had that fast track application process. We had 130 people show up in body, not filling out an application, taking 3 parts of the test, including the physical. 85 of them were left in that process.
Tracy says they will also be able to make staff available to work the downtown district through overtime from outside funding. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Is it worth filing a suit to remove St. Louis County Executive Sam Page from office if he's not running for re-election? Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says, yes, his term ending this year is irrelevant.
If we have the evidence, we will file for a quo. It is, we just can't have people who are in office and violating the charter.
Hanaway says she believes there is enough time for a quo warranto to see a ruling before Page's tenure comes to a close. She adds they were able to finally access the evidence late last week after being delayed by HIPAA protections. 2 people are charged after Sunday's street takeover. It happened at the intersection of North 9th and Branch Streets, according to our partners at Fox 2. 2 of the drivers were charged with stunt driving in connection with that street takeover. 20-year-old Mackenzie Davis was also charged with second-degree endangering the welfare of a child as her 3-year-old daughter was in the back seat of her car at the time. Gas prices 3 cents cheaper per gallon today than they were last week in St. Louis. According to Gas Buddy, the regional average gas price is $4.37. Gas prices fell about the same amount for all of Missouri and averaged $4.18 a gallon today. In Illinois, prices down almost 15 cents from last week. The average price per gallon finally dipped under $5, coming in at $4.90 per gallon of unleaded today. Uber's option to match women riders with women drivers is gaining popularity. KMOX looks at how it works in practice.
Women can request a female driver when calling for a ride, booking one ahead, or can set it as the default for every time. The selling point is peace of mind in a situation where the driver has your name, your pickup spot, and often the address you're headed to, frequently late at night. KMOX's Beth Coughlin recently used the feature coming home from a trip.
I had to wait a little bit longer for the option for the woman driver, but as a woman, 100% yes, I would do it every single time. It was it was completely worth it.
The move to add some peace of mind comes as Uber and Lyft have together fielded thousands of sexual assault reports. Just this winter, a jury found Uber liable in one case, ordering it to pay $8.5 million to a woman raped by a driver. Jared Waldoff, attorney with the Simon Law Firm in St. Louis, who's handled rideshare cases, calls the feature a real benefit, but does have advice for anybody using it.
Riders, particularly female riders, should not let your guard down just because you get in the car. Stay alert. Watch your driver, watch your route, and have somebody available to call, if not 911.
Uber says only about 1 in 5 of its U.S. drivers is a woman, which could mean a longer wait for a match in some places. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Missouri leaders are taking a closer look at nuclear energy. A new task force will officially hold meetings in Jefferson City. The group's chairman, Missouri Department of Natural Resources Director Kurt Schaefer, says without nuclear power, the state simply won't have enough reliable energy.
Nuclear is more expensive on the front end, so the purpose of this task force is to look at how do we get to a place where we can develop that in a way that's reasonable for consumers, but also guarantees baseload power going forward.
Schaefer says the Missouri Department of Natural Resources is working on a new statewide energy plan that will help to guide a more in-depth discussion by the task force. From the KMOX business desk, the Bank of America Plaza in downtown St. Louis set to be auctioned. The high-rise 30-story glass building located at 800 Market Street, a few blocks from Busch Stadium. After foreclosing last year, it now sits around 60% vacancy. The auction starts June 22nd with a $2 million starting bid. We'll have traffic and weather coming up, and then we'll learn about the effort to find hundreds of students that are missing from St. Louis City class rolls since last year's tornado. It's 8:08.
The final home game of the season is here, St. Louis. Your St. Louis Battlehawks hit the field Friday, May 29th at 7 p.m. against the Dallas Renegades at the Dome at America Center. It's Battlehawk Kids Day, packed with family fun, Battlehawks energy, and an Archie bobblehead giveaway while supplies last. Join Battlehawks Nation. Bring the whole crew and help close out the season the only way St. Louis knows how. Loud and proud. Caw-caw. Because caw is the law. Get tickets starting at just $18 at UFLBattlehawks.com or Ticketmaster.
Kicking back on your patio with a nice cold beverage, listening to the game, enjoying family and friends, a little barbecue, maybe the shade of the pergola. Who knows what your outdoor space looks like? Or maybe it doesn't look like much and you need some help. Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. They're like your summer headquarters to make sure that your outdoor space is ready for all the celebrating or relaxing that you have planned. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best for 58 years. A family-owned local company that does quality work. And that makes it a real value because when Chesterfield Fence and Deck does your project, it is going to last for years to come. And they'll offer you 48 months interest-free financing if you mention me, Debbie Monterey, sent you. So you can visit them in person in the Chesterfield Valley or online right now at chesterfieldfence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Meet me at the Muni in Forest Park.
Muni tickets for 2026 are on sale now, featuring Hairspray, Shrek the Musical, South Pacific, Disney's Newsies, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations, Meet Me in St. Louis, and Something Rotten. Choose your seats now at muni.org.
Meet me at the Muni in Forest Park.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
8:10. Let's see how things look on the roads. It doesn't look too bad so far this morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
No, it hasn't been all that bad, Megan. The busiest stretch of highway is still north 270, but now it's north of 44 up to Ladue. The only slow part down south that's all thinned out once they cleared that crash we had at the East 44 exit. That helped the southern portion of that trip, northbound at least. Eastbound 64, just a brief slow down McKnight to the north 170 exit. It's really just those exit lanes, it looks like to me, for the most part. Westbound 64, Hampton, most of the way to Hanley. Still pretty busy. Not a solid slowdown like it was, but there's still a lot of traffic going that way. Otherwise, out west, southbound 61 on to eastbound 64, 70 out of St. Charles County look good. North 55 is clear coming up from Festus to downtown. And westbound 64 looks good through Fairview Heights. Don't forget, though, at 9 a.m. this morning is when they're scheduled to close those ramps north and southbound 159 onto westbound 64, and the westbound 64 exit as well will be closed, I believe, through June 5th. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Plenty of clouds today and rather humid. A passing late day shower, high 78. Mostly cloudy and humid tonight. There can be a shower or thunderstorm in the area, low 67. For tomorrow, clouds and some sunshine, warm and humid. Slight chance of a thunderstorm, high 84. Variable cloudiness and warm on Thursday again. There may be an afternoon thunderstorm in spots, high 86. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
We have cloudy skies this morning, 68 degrees in Florissant. It's 66 in St. Peters and 68 degrees reported in downtown St. Louis. You're back with Total Information AM here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. St. Louis Public Schools and a local nonprofit are looking for students who went missing from city classrooms after last year's tornado. The Little Bit Foundation is trying to find them and make sure they're okay. And with me now on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line, CEO Miranda Walker-Jones. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me this morning.
How many students are unaccounted for in St. Louis schools after last year's storms?
Well, we're looking for about 520 students, and that's just for St. Louis Public Schools. There were other schools that were affected as well, and some of the charter schools. So there's more than 520, but we're looking for the ones in St. Louis Public Schools.
Do you know how many of those may have attended the school buildings that were damaged in the storm?
All of them were in the school buildings that were damaged. With when you're talking about students that were going from buildings that were no longer open and they had to go to temporary buildings, we lost a few of the students are in new school districts. But what we are looking for are students that we have not seen come through enrollment in other school districts. And we're trying to see if they're even still in the area, if they've moved, out of state. We're just trying to make sure that these students that were former St. Louis Public School students, they either landed well, or if they're still in need and need to come back and transition back into the district, that we can help them do that.
Some people may be listening to this and wonder, well, how in the world could they just be unaccounted for, with school records or transcripts that they might need in the future?
Yeah, and that's exactly how we know that they're unaccounted for. So if they are going to another school district, usually there would be a transcript request from the St. Louis Public Schools. And this is how we've noticed that these students have not requested transcripts. We are not sure if another district accepted them and that, they just were able to get in without having these things. But that is part of the issue, is that we're trying to make sure that every single student that was in the St. Louis Public School District, as well as Confluence, that's another school that I know is looking to make sure that all those students, they landed well in another district, or if they are still out there in need of help. And that is why we're doing this, because we want to make sure that we are helping them. This is something that is probably a long time coming. We wish it had happened sooner, but as the year went by and we noticed that these children didn't pop up in other districts, we said, hey, this is an urgent call for us to make sure that that every kid is accounted for. This is a partnership with the St. Louis Education Fund, as well as the rapid response team that's housed by the St. Louis Community Foundation. So there's a lot of different partners that are involved in trying to make sure our kids are well.
Miranda, how concerned are you that some of these students maybe aren't going to school at all? Their education may have been completely disrupted by this event.
I am concerned. There may be some kids that are being homeschooled. There may be some kids that are just not in school, and that is our concern. We want to make sure that all of the kids are getting the education that they need and deserve. So this is why we are just making sure that we are trying to touch base with any kid that we have not seen come up on any roster. When we're talking about 520 kids, this is just for St. Louis Public Schools. We would hate that this kid is, like in transition or not, getting that education. If there is any kind of way that we can find these children and make sure that they've landed well, that's what we're trying to do.
Describe the challenge of trying to track where these students have gone. How difficult is it to trace their steps?
Well, if you think about it, these are the last known numbers that we had at the time that they were enrolled in the school. So if they were in a house that was destroyed and it was a home number, then that home number most likely isn't connecting to them or it's not working. And then often people change cell phone numbers, or if they don't have the same phone. So those are some of the challenges, is that, we're looking at, this address, is that house any there anymore, or is that phone number the same? So that becomes very challenging. And then with all robocalls and all the calls that we get every day, a lot of people won't answer the phone if they don't recognize the number. And we are calling because we want to help, we want to reach out. It's just really difficult when there are so many different people reaching out for different things, and you don't know that this is actually a call for help.
So, how many students have you been able to make contact with through this process already?
So right now we're at about 120 students that we made contact with their families, and we're really excited about that. And we are finding that some of them, have landed in other spaces, and they're safe, and we're happy for that. And then there are other families that are longing to come back to their home school. So we are noticing a lot of people are staying with family and different friends that, or had safe houses that they could go to, as opposed to being in a damaged home. So we are noticing that, there's so far, most of the families that we have found have landed safely.
What other services are you hoping to provide these families who may still, kind of be in a transitional period?
Thank you for asking that. We are looking to do just about everything. So from the Little Bit Foundation, we can do those rapid needs, helping with clothes, shoes, hats, gloves, all those things that students may need. We also have toiletries, things of that nature. But bigger than that, with the rapid response team, they are helping us to help them with housing, to help with transportation, all of those things that they need to make sure that they're stable, or that we can get them back into the city, going to schools, in our schools within the city limits.
What help have you had from surrounding districts in trying to locate these students?
Well, you know what? This is not something that other districts are looking for at the same time. We work well together with all the other districts. If they note that there's a student that is from St. Louis Public Schools, then St. Louis Public Schools has already probably been contacted about those students. So these are students that, have not been in these other districts. So it's really difficult for them to help us in this regard. If you are listening right now and you are a family that's in need and you have not gotten a call from us, please feel free to reach out to us at the Little Bit Foundation or the St. Louis Education Fund, because your number may not be working. So we want to make sure that if you are a family in need, that this is not just a one-way call. You all can always reach out to us as well.
That is Miranda Walker-Jones, CEO of the Little Bit Foundation, and their website is an easy one. It is thelittlebitfoundation.org. Still ahead on Total Information AM, there is evidence of microplastics throughout Illinois' rivers. Jade Aubrey is going to talk with Emily Kowalski, a lead researcher with a Chicago-based environmental group, about their findings and their recent study. The Pope spoke about artificial intelligence this weekend. We're going to get more on his comments on that coming up at the bottom of the hour. And then at 8:41, we are about to hit wedding season. And for future in-laws, this can be a pretty hard time, especially for moms of sons. We're going to look at a guide for you on how you can avoid stepping on your groom's bride. And then at 8:51, Greg Damon, KMOX auto expert, is going to join me to talk about how the automotive industry has been going through a pretty big reset for the first part of 2026. It's now 8:20. Let's get a check of the roads right now with Roger Brand. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, it continues to get better. Really, just North 270 is the bulk of the volume, and then westbound 64 after that. North 270 north of Big Bend still bunches up, slow going all the way up to Ladue, and westbound 64 Hampton out through Big Bend. The right lanes through Hanley still kind of slow as well, but the rest of the interstates right now on both sides of the river are good to go. So no other issues or concerns out there at this time, at least. Next update at 8:30 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. And checking that forecast for today, it's going to be mostly cloudy, humid. We could see a shower in the area late this afternoon. Expect a high around 78. Cloudy and humid tonight with a thunderstorm possible in a couple of spots overnight, a low of 67. And then tomorrow, pretty much the same. Clouds, some sunshine, warm and humid with a thunderstorm possible, a high 84. Right now, 68 downtown at the Arch.
The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Gravois Bluffs. Come visit us now. Ready to refresh your space with furniture that's built to last? The new Haverty's Furniture Showroom is now open in Fenton and Gravois Bluffs. Experience Haverty's regret-free guarantee for yourself and shop the latest in living rooms, bedrooms, and more. Visit Haverty's now in Gravois Bluffs.
Spring and summer air should feel fresh, not full of dust, allergens, and whatever winter left behind in your vents. Your air ducts are the lungs of your home, and if they're dirty, they're breathing it in every day. That's where Zero Res comes in, backed by over thousands of Google reviews and a 4.9 rating. This month, only get a whole system air duct cleaned for just $599. That's cleaner air, better efficiency, and a fresher home guaranteed. 314-474-2020 or ZeroResSTL.com.
All eyes will be on Mizzou men's basketball this year, with one of the nation's top recruiting classes coming to the Zoo. You don't want to be watching from the couch while Mizzou Arena is rocking, so grab your black and gold and experience it. Go to MUTigers.com/MVBTIX to get your name on the season ticket request list for next season. Don't wait. Visit MUTigers.com/MVBTIX today. MIZ.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Welcome back to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. A new study shows all Illinois rivers contain microplastics. The study, conducted by the Chicago-based Environmental Illinois Research and Education Center, published last week. KMOX's Jade Aubrey learned more from Emily Kowalski, one of the lead researchers, who says water was sampled from 31 sites across Illinois, including the Mississippi, the Ohio, the Illinois, and the Great Lakes.
We unfortunately found microplastic in every waterway that we tested, and at every single site where we got water samples. This includes waterways like the Mississippi River, the Ohio River, the Illinois River, and Lake Michigan.
Awesome. That was going to be my next question, is what rivers were sampled? Were those the only big ones that were sampled?
We sampled lots of different rivers, lakes, and streams. Certainly the Mississippi River and Lake Michigan are, waterways that are really close to the heart of Illinoisans. And so those are some of the big names, but we also went to smaller waterways like the Fox River, Skokie Lagoons, the Cache River, and Carlisle Lake. We wanted to ensure that we were testing waterways where our favorite swimming spots are, our favorite places to go fishing, the waterways that Illinoisans have running through our backyards, and find out what was lurking beneath the surface of those waterways.
And it's so interesting that it was a problem all across Illinois. It wasn't specific to any location. Was that what you guys were expecting to find?
Unfortunately, it was not a surprise to us that we found microplastic in all of the waterways that we tested. While lots of the research that has been done over the last several years has looked at the oceans or some of our larger bodies of water across the globe, we know that there is plastic being found basically everywhere, from the tallest mountaintops to the deepest trenches of our ocean. So I was unfortunately not too surprised to find that there were microplastics in all of the waterways here in Illinois. But we did this study to find out just that, to see if that was true here in Illinois. And sadly to say, it is the case.
Yeah, and I saw that you guys were testing for 4 specific types of microplastics. And when I was looking at the interactive map, you can tell that there was different stuff found at different rivers. Do you want to talk about what they specifically found in the Mississippi River and kind of the breakdown of what those 4 types are?
In our study, we looked for 4 different types of microplastics: microfibers that are primarily from clothing and textiles, microfragments, these small bits of plastic, typically broken from larger plastic items, microfilms from flexible plastics like plastic bags, and microbeads from cosmetics and personal care products. In the Mississippi River, we found microfibers, microfragments, and microfilms. We did not actually find microbeads at any of the sites that we tested across Illinois. That's a good thing, and is likely due to the fact that we actually no longer sell personal care products in the state of Illinois that have these microbeads. But it is concerning that we are finding microfibers, microfragments, microfilms, and these other types of microplastics at every site that we tested.
That is Emily Kowalski with the Environment Illinois Research and Education Center. It's now 8:27, and this time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
It's Tom Ackerman for the great company, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. 1926, a century of service. Here's to the garage door, the largest piece of moving equipment in our home. The garage door, sometimes we take it for granted. It goes up, it goes down. You just rely on it every single day to do what it does. Well, what if it doesn't someday? That would be a problem. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will keep your garage door reliable by checking it out. Just get it tuned up, make sure that it's running smoothly, and they can do it for any brand. You don't have to get it from them. Any brand of garage door, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will take care of that for you. Same-day service, too. 314-781-5200. 314-781-5200. And don't be fooled by the imposters out there. There's only one Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the one with the red ribbon. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-329-1010. That's 1-800-329-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-329-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Hello, 4th of July. Back-to-back Jack. Kerry Robinson, a hero tonight.
The Cubs visit St. Louis May 29th through the 31st for a weekend of baseball's best rivalry at Busch Stadium. The history is real. The fans are loud, and the energy in the ballpark is unmatched. Day or night, every pitch matters when these two meet. So get ready, Cardinals fans. This is what summer baseball in St. Louis is all about. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/tickets.
The weekend starts at Busch Stadium. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou. With $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
8:30, time for another update on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, still doesn't look bad out there. Continues to improve, Megan. This traffic reports the service of United Way of Greater St. Louis, helpingpeople.org. Northbound 270 still slow from Doherty Ferry all the way up to Ladue. Eastbound 64 McKnight to the 170 exit's a little slow, but westbound 64 is thinned out. And the rest of these interstates look great, both sides of the river. I'm not seeing any other issues or delays for you at this time. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
When our neighbors need support, United Way brings people together, helping families, helping children, helping people through everyday challenges, and building hope for tomorrow. Unite with us at helpingpeople.org.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, at forecast for today, we're going to see cloudy skies. It's going to be humid, and we could see a shower in the area late this afternoon. Expect a high of 78. Cloudy and humid tonight with a thunderstorm in a couple of spots, an overnight low of 67. Right now, we have cloudy skies, 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. Pope Leo warning of the dangers and opportunities posed by artificial intelligence. He spoke at the Vatican as he released an open letter to the world's Catholics and got support from the leader of a top AI company. The Pope said the AI culture of power could be misused.
Artificial intelligence needs to be disarmed. The word is strong, I know, but deliberately chosen because this moment needs words capable of attracting attention, awakening consciences, and indicating paths forward for humanity. The Church has long been working for nuclear disarmament, aware that every great technical power can affect people's lives, and so must be accompanied by adequate moral discernment and public control. Nuclear disarmament remains a service to peace and the dignity of the human family. In a similar sense, artificial intelligence now demands to be disarmed, freed from logics that turn it into an instrument of domination, exclusion, and death. Like nuclear energy, it must be at the service of all and of the common good.
The Pope balanced his message with this.
Let's not fear artificial intelligence, but constantly keep the question of the human in play. We cannot be careless with our most powerful technical instruments. The person bears within him or herself a freedom, an interiority, and the vocation to love and worship that no machine can replace or block.
Also speaking at the Vatican, Christopher Olah, who is co-founder of the AI firm Anthropic, who welcomed the Pope's intervention.
His Holiness' call for discernment is profoundly timely. I wish to name 3 questions where I think the Church's voice is especially needed. The first is our duty to the global poor. There is a real possibility that AI will displace human labor at a very large scale. If that happens, supporting those displaced will be a moral imperative of historic proportions. This task will be difficult enough, but I worry most dialogue misses an even harder challenge. AI development is concentrated in a handful of wealthy nations. How will we ensure that the gains of AI are shared globally? We do not have a mechanism for this. It is an unsolved problem. And it is the kind of problem the Church has historically refused to let the world ignore. The second is the need for moral imagination and ambition regarding human flourishing. If AI models are going to be widespread, what does it look like for humans, families, and the world to flourish? Today, parents are already worried about their children's minds, individuals about the future of their work. These are not questions a lab can answer, but they are questions traditions like yours have carried for millennia, and we need you to keep carrying them into this new moment in history.
The Vatican involved Anthropic as part of its long effort to engage Silicon Valley in dialogue over the human cost of AI. It's 8:35. We'll get your money report from Bloomberg next.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
The board of energy giant BP has removed its chairman due to, quote, serious concerns about governance standards, oversight, and conduct. The sudden and unexpected departure of Albert Manifold comes as the company has been working on turning itself around after years of poor performance. Wall Street is set for gains to start the holiday-shortened trading week on hopes for a Middle East peace deal. Shares in rocket and satellite companies are rallying in the early trade. They've been on the move since SpaceX filed last week for what could be the largest ever initial public offering. And a video conferencing giant's push into artificial intelligence is paying off big. Zoom says it's pocketed about $1 billion on an investment it made in AI startup Anthropic in 2023. Zoom invested in the startup as part of a partnership to use Anthropic's Claude models. Zoom has been making a push to add more artificial intelligence features, such as a workplace AI assistant. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Stay with us here on Total Information AM. Coming up, a trauma therapist is going to tell us how to be the perfect mother-in-law.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Iran is calling Monday's U.S. airstrikes a gross violation of the ceasefire. The Pentagon says the attacks were defensive. Democrats increasingly critiquing each other over their personal stock trades as the party looks to hone its anti-corruption message against President Donald Trump in the midterm. And 6 men allegedly connected to a series of burglaries at the homes of star athletes, including Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, now under arrest in South America. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Things look great out there right now, Megan, for the most part. This traffic reports the service at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. We just have slow traffic now, North 270 approaching Manchester up to Ladue, eastbound 64, the ramp lane to get onto North 170 sort of bogged down, but through traffic looks all right. And the rest of these highways are light and on the go. They do have road work going on in a couple of spots. I do see a little slowdown westbound 64 past Highway 50 now in Metro East. Don't forget at 9 a.m. is when they close those ramps north and southbound 159 onto westbound 64, and the westbound 64 exit at 159 will be closed again at 9 a.m. today through June 5th. And they are doing moving road work right now, right lane westbound 370 west of the Mills and eastbound 364 through Gudermuth. But again, I'm not really seeing any delays. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Looks like it's going to be cloudy and humid today. A shower possible, a high of 78. Right now we have cloudy skies, 68 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for joining me this morning here on Total Information AM on KMOX. We are heading into peak wedding season. That means moms and dads have to hand over the child they've loved and nurtured to someone else. And that can create some interesting dynamics before and after the wedding day. Leslie Coppell is a psychotherapist and the mom of 2 married sons. Her book is How to Be the Perfect Mother-in-Law, a lighthearted guide for moms of married sons. And she joins me now on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line. Good morning, Leslie.
Good morning. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. This is such a great topic. And, often at weddings, there's a lot of tension. And sometimes there is tension between the groom's mother and the bride surrounding the wedding. What can that mean down the road if things don't go well on that wedding day?
Well, I think that you ask a really good question because that's the basics of it. You have to keep in mind this is one night or one weekend for hopefully a long life of happiness. So you have to think of it like that. And it's kind of insignificant when you think about it like that because they have a long life. Don't focus so much on the individual wedding. It does make a difference to treat it almost insignificantly.
You've created a list of 10 unspoken rules for the mother of the groom for the big day. The first is, this is not your wedding. How vital is it that parents of the couple keep that in mind?
Well, I think it's super important, but I think I should have said in your first question is I like to start with that weddings represent a real shift in the family structure, and that's where I think things go wrong for people. For many moms of sons, it's the first time they're stepping out of their central role in his life. And so as exciting as a wedding could be, it also brings unexpected moments and emotions like grief. And that's something I talk a lot about in my book. You're losing your son in the way you used to have him. But keep in mind, it's not about losing a son. It's about making room for a marriage and respecting them and your new role. So the first thing that you said is this is not your wedding. You have to keep that in mind. Even if you're contributing financially, the vision belongs to the couple and not to you.
You say that moms should support their sons without undermining the bride. Explain how we navigate that as a mom.
Right. So you got to be careful not to get pulled into a triangle. So if your son needs a little support, it doesn't come at the expense of putting down his future wife or his bride to be. You are encouraging him, but it should never come at her expense. So the healthiest mom would support the marriage, not just the son. So sometimes it might even mean sticking up for your future daughter-in-law. Maybe your son's got something that he needs a little help with.
How much involvement on that wedding day should the mother of the groom have in planning before and managing things that day?
Well, really, that's up to the bride and the groom, right? Because if they want your involvement and they ask for it, you give it. You're there, and it's great to be needed. But I think the problem happens when they don't want it. They don't need it. And it's not your role to take over. I always say, put down the clipboard. Unless they're asking for your advice, don't give it. Not your place.
What about family traditions? That is really important for some families, that those things be followed. How do you navigate that?
So the important thing with any of this stuff is communication. Don't wait for the wedding day to come, or things to come and go, and then you're building up this resentment over something that didn't happen. Communicate in advance. If there's an important tradition to you, sit your son and daughter-in-law down and say, I'm hoping that you can accommodate us. This is something we've always done. If you can, it would be great. It means a lot to us. Don't wait for that moment to come and go and then not do it because you didn't say it, and then be disappointed and hold on to that.
You mentioned earlier, if there's a financial contribution, it's still up to the bride and the groom. Does that extend to the guest list?
Guest lists are so tricky. They are so tricky from every angle. And in fact, that starts way before the wedding. That starts like the minute after, sometimes the minute after the couple gets engaged. They start thinking about numbers and your list and their list and the kids' list. I say the kids, but the grown kids. So it's really, really tricky. There's no one-size-fits-all answer for that. Really, I know you're contributing financially, but again, you have to include your son, your daughter-in-law, your daughter-in-law's parents. It's kind of a group decision.
Bottom line, the day after that wedding, how do you continue to establish a good long-term relationship with either a daughter-in-law or a son-in-law?
I think that the biggest thing I could say to sum it all up is don't just respect your son, although that's nice, and don't just respect your daughter-in-law. That's really important too. Respect them as a couple. And they are forming their new unit. Even without children, it's a new unit for them. They're not part of your fold. So respecting that they're going to have their own lives, their own traditions, and you want to be a part of it. You want to be invited in. So just respect. That's, if you ask me to sum it up, that's what I would say.
Leslie, thank you so much. Appreciate the help.
Thanks for having me.
That is Leslie Coppell. She's a psychotherapist and author of the book, How to Be the Perfect Mother-in-Law, a lighthearted guide for moms of married sons. Coming up, we're going to look at the auto industry. They've had to go through a pretty big reset the first part of 2026. Greg Damon, our KMOX auto expert, joins us next.
I'm Brad Young. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
It's time to check out the exterior of your home. Tom Ackerman with you. Siding and windows, two things that can make your home look like the best home in the neighborhood. It just makes a huge difference. And the best in the business is Banner Construction. Since 1993, they have been the best when it comes to Pella windows. They're a Pella window specialist. They're a preferred James Hardie contractor. They are Banner Construction. You don't want to go with a company that doesn't entirely know what it's doing or tries to cut corners or hasn't been around for a very long time. 1993 is when they started, so over 30 years of excellence. Go online and see for yourself all the great examples at bannerconstruction.com. Banner Construction will come over to your home. They'll give you a free in-home consultation. You're going to love their team. I really appreciate Banner Construction and what they do here in St. Louis. Visit them online, bannerconstruction.com, 314-569-1050, and have a banner day.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Cards and Cubs, the rivalry returns to Busch Stadium May 29th, and we are kicking off the weekend early. I'm Tom Ackerman. Join me for a Redbird Roundtable featuring Ozzie Smith, Al Roboski, and Matt Adams. Thursday, May 28th at the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch Brewery. We're talking ball, enjoying a cold beer, and celebrating one of baseball's best rivalries. The doors open at 4:30. The Redbird Roundtable, Thursday, May 28th, a free event. Must be 21 or older to attend. Full details at KMOX.com.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Megan Lynch, and you're listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. The automotive industry has been going through a big reset in 2026. Let's talk about it with KMOX auto expert Greg Damon. He's general manager of Sparks Tire and Auto Center in St. Charles and joins me on the Quiver River Electric Gas Line. Good morning, Greg.
Hey, good morning, Megan. Thanks for having me on this morning.
Well, it seems like automakers and their suppliers have not really had an easy ride since the pandemic, but 2026 has had some new challenges. There have been some changes in regulation. There's a war on. How do you see those things impacting the auto industry?
Well, it's going to impact it. It's going to impact it a lot. Let's just wind it back a little bit with the pandemic. It has been a really tough road. Parts are extremely hard to come by. A lot of parts are on national back order, things like that. Now, with increased tariffs, also, the war going on, and it's not just about cars. It's going to be about all manufacturing because oil goes into just about everything that goes on with manufacturing, making plastics, all sorts of stuff. So we're going to probably see an increased cost across the board. You look at an average car now, average family size car, and the median price is about $49,000. So, we're just going to see up and up and up and more regulations put on cars, more safety equipment put on cars. Cars are way safer than they've ever been before. It's just going to drive the cost up.
One thing that there's been a big shift in is EVs and hybrids. Hybrids are back in vogue. What happened to electric vehicles?
So what's happened, the credits are expiring on electric cars. Customers have not really embraced the electric car as what people thought they would be. The government's also rolling back some regulations on it. Let's face it, the internal combustion engine is fantastic. It hardly pollutes anymore. It gets great fuel mileage. The engineers have eked out all they can out of this internal combustion engine. It's the best thing we have going. It's been around forever and will keep going on forever as well. We see a lot more hybrids that are being introduced. Hybrid is the way to go. It's a lot less for the consumer to have to do. You don't necessarily have to plug in the hybrid anymore. You're going to get some great gas mileage with it, but yet it's not going to die on you when the electricity runs out of it. You're going to be able to drive on because you've got that internal combustion engine along with it.
How do higher gas prices impact what automakers can focus on? You do feel like there will always be a market, for some of the muscle cars and the huge SUVs, even with higher gas prices?
Well, let's face it, Megan, we're Americans. We love our cars. We love to drive, and it doesn't matter if gas is going to be $10 a gallon. We're still going to have people that are going to want out and drive. I think the muscle cars will still always be around. It's still a niche market. The same as trucks. Trucks are very popular here in the United States. But you have to understand that when manufacturers manufacture cars or design cars to be sold, that's 5 years in advance. So the cars that they're designing today won't be available for production for at least 5 years. So the cars that we can buy today were 5 years ago. So it's kind of tough to look at that economy and look at things that are going on in prices as to what to manufacture. All manufacturers will still have an economy class of cars. They'll have a mid-size, they'll have a full-size, and into the trucks as well. But you start to see the buying of consumers when gas prices are high. You won't see as many trucks. You won't see as many sport utility vehicles. They'll start going with a smaller vehicle, a better gas mileage vehicle. But when gas prices come down, then it kind of fades away and it goes the other way where more people will start buying SUVs, start buying trucks and things like that.
How hard is it for automakers to make these shifts, especially as we're looking at emerging technologies like self-driving cars and these, software-defined vehicles? This is the latest thing. How many years out do automakers have to plan for those kind of things?
Well, they try to incorporate the latest technology possible into every vehicle. As I said, cars are way safer today than they've ever been before. If you get into a wreck, most of the time you're not badly injured or killed compared to what it used to be in the past. I'm still not a big fan of the self-driving car. I still want to be in control of it. I don't know how that's going to affect consumers down the road, but you also have to look at, do we really have the infrastructure for a self-driving car? I mean, I'd love to be able to crawl into a car and say, hey, take me to Montana, and go to sleep, and the next thing I know, I wake up in Montana. But do we really have the infrastructure? When it's a cloudy day outside, can the sensors read the white line and the yellow line in the road? Can it read the camera in front of it? Does it know where the car is in front of you? So it's able to brake and not run into the back of that car. We just seen a Waymo car run into a lake because it couldn't detect of where it was going. So I think that technology is still emerging. But again, we have to have a better infrastructure on our roads to be able to do something like that.
That's KMOX auto expert Greg Damon. Greg, thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thanks, Megan. Appreciate the time.
Coming up tomorrow on Total Information AM in our 8 o'clock hour, you could vote in Missouri on a ballot measure that would phase out the state income tax that's coming up later this year. Opponents say it could hurt more than it helps. We're going to find out more about their arguments tomorrow morning, just after the 8 o'clock news.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Red Pocket Mobile.
For adults over the age of 65, a hip fracture can be more deadly than cancer. New research from Laval University in Quebec finds that 30% of patients die within the first year of a break. Scientists say immobility after the injury drastically increases the risk for blood clots, heart failure, and infections. Women are more likely to suffer a hip fracture, but fewer than 1/3 of